Imagine stepping into a world where every footstep echoes in a vast, silent labyrinth beneath a ruined city. A world where darkness is not just a backdrop, but a living, breathing character that tells its own tragic tale. Picture yourself, not as an observer, but as a part of this world, a world where every decision can mean the difference between hope and despair, where survival is a constant battle, and every shadow hides a secret waiting to be unraveled. For me, the Metro series is more than just a collection of games. It's an emotional pilgrimage into a realm that is as beautifully desolate as it is profoundly moving. It's the kind of series that, with each playthrough, leaves an indelible mark on your soul. From the very first time I set foot in the dark, echoing corridors of Metro 2033, I was captivated by the raw power of its narrative, the immersive, almost tangible atmosphere, and the relentless inner struggle of its protagonist. The gritty world beneath Moscow isn't merely a setting. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest fears, resilience, and the ultimate sacrifice for survival. At its core, Metro is a journey into isolation. It challenges us to confront the harsh realities of a world that has been stripped of all that we once held dear: sunlight, freedom, and connection. With every step the hero takes, you feel the weight of a society that has crumbled into dust above, where nature herself has turned against man, leaving only the remnants of hope flickering like a dying ember in the darkness. As I began to explore this universe, I found myself questioning not only the fate of its inhabitants, but the very nature of human existence in the face of insurmountable catastrophe. The series invites you to embark on an odyssey of introspection and action, where every abandoned station and every flickering light represents a memory of a lost world, yet also hints at the possibility of renewal. The tension is palpable. You sense that behind every rusting train and every crumbling wall, there lies a story of struggle, of battles fought in silence, and of a resilient spirit that refuses to be extinguished. It's in these moments of solitude that I discovered the true essence of Metro. A tale not just about dystopia and survival, but about the very core of what it means to be human. Think about it. In a world where the surface is nothing more than a forbidden myth, humanity clings desperately to the shelter of the underground, carving out a semblance of life amid the ruins. Here, every character, every whispered journal entry, and every fleeting conversation carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken questions. How did we get here? Why did everything we knew vanish overnight? And what price must we pay to reclaim even a fragment of the lost light? The Metro series poses these questions with such relentless intensity that they resonate long after the game has ended. I recall the first time I encountered Artyom, the silent yet determined protagonist of Metro 2033. His journey was one of stark contrasts, a blend of brutal action and tender introspection. As he navigated the treacherous tunnels, evading mutated beasts and relics of the old world, I felt my pulse quicken with a mixture of adrenaline and sorrow. Here was a young man thrust into a battle for existence where every moment was a test of his will and every decision carried profound consequences. His struggle was not only against the physical monstrosities of this dark world, but also against the internal demons that haunted him, the fear of the unknown, the ache of lost innocence, and the perpetual question of whether the sacrifices made were worth the cost. This series has a way of drawing you in so deeply that you begin to see fragments of your own inner battles within its narrative. It is in the silent, reflective pauses, moments when Artyom's thoughts echo through the cold, dim corridors of abandoned stations, that you start to question your own life. Have we not all, at some point, been forced to confront our deepest fears? Have we not clung to hope in the midst of overwhelming despair? Metro does not just tell a story, it invites you to live it, to breathe it in, and to let it transform your perception of reality. What captivates me most about Metro is its cinematic quality. The game unfolds like a sweeping epic, blending breathtaking visuals with a haunting score that tugs at your heartstrings. Every scene is meticulously crafted to evoke an emotional response, from the stark beauty of a desolate train station bathed in the glow of a flickering light, to the claustrophobic terror of a mutant ambush in the endless darkness below. There are moments when time seems to slow down, as if you're watching a masterpiece film where each frame is imbued with meaning, and every sound is a reminder of the fragile existence of hope. Yet amidst the cinematic grandeur and the raw emotion lies a profound mystery, one that challenges you to piece together the fragments of a world that has fallen apart. Metro is not content to offer a simple narrative. It layers its storytelling, with puzzles and enigmas that beckon you to dive deeper, to uncover the truths hidden beneath the surface. Every discovery is a revelation, every flashback a key to understanding the complex tapestry of human resilience and frailty. And so, with each passing moment, the series compels you not only to watch, but to truly engage, to empathize with its characters, to share in their grief and joy, and to question the very nature of existence in a world where light has all but faded. In this retrospective, I want to take you on a journey through the corridors of the Metro universe, where every shadow holds a secret, every silence speaks volumes, and every heartbeat is a testament to the unyielding human spirit. I promise you that by the end of our exploration, you will see Metro not merely as a game series, but as an enduring saga of hope, loss, and the eternal struggle for redemption. So, if you're ready to confront the mysteries of a post-apocalyptic world, to embark on an emotionally charged adventure filled with breathtaking visuals and heart-wrenching moments, then join me as we uncover the complete story of the Metro series. A story that is as much about the battles we fight within as it is about the fight for survival in a world shrouded in darkness. Welcome to the complete Metro series story retrospective. Let the journey begin. The Metro Universe. Unveiled. From desolation to hope. Imagine a world where the surface of the earth is nothing more than a distant memory, where the remnants of humanity cling to survival deep beneath the ruins of a once thriving metropolis. Welcome to the universe of Metro, a post-apocalyptic realm that unfolds under the shadow of Moscow, where every corridor echoes with the anguish of the past and every flicker of light offers a fragile promise of hope. At the heart of the Metro universe is a powerful dichotomy, desolation paired with the potential for renewal. In this labyrinthine network of abandoned subway stations and underground tunnels, humanity has retreated to escape the nuclear devastation above, only to discover that the darkness conceals not only terror and decay, but also the enduring spark of life. As you journey through this underground world, you find yourself immersed in an environment that is as haunting as it is beautiful, a place where memory and myth converge, and survival becomes an act of defiance against oblivion. The origins of this universe are deeply interwoven with both literature and history. The Metro series draws its inspiration from the seminal Russian novel Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, a work that introduced the idea of a mysterious extraterrestrial visitation leaving behind bizarre, anomalous zones. In the Aichi Metro universe, however, the catastrophic event is reimagined as a nuclear holocaust, a world forever altered by humanity's own self-destruction. This reinterpretation transforms the grim narrative of Roadside Picnic into a meditation on the cost of civilization, where the struggle for survival is fought not only against external threats, but against the internal decay of hope itself. The main titles within the Metro series, Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus, each carve out their own space in this vast universe. They invite players to experience the evolution of humanity in these dark, subterranean corridors, each game deepening the emotional and philosophical layers of the narrative. In Metro 2033 Gyu, you follow the young protagonist, Artyom, on a harrowing journey that begins in the claustrophobic safety of his home station and forces him to confront the violent unknown beyond. Metro Last Light continues this voyage, expanding on the themes of isolation and sacrifice, and introducing the stark reality of moral ambiguity in a world where every decision is a gamble with life and death. And then there's Metro Exodus, a bold departure from the confined tunnels of the earlier games, which thrusts you into the vast, irradiated wilderness above, symbolizing not just escape, but also a search for meaning and redemption. As you traverse this universe, a series of profound questions begin to surface. What events led to the collapse of the old world? How did humanity come to be so deeply divided between the subterranean sanctuaries and the deadly irradiated lands above? And perhaps most intriguingly, what secrets does this sprawling network of metro stations hold about the true nature of the apocalypse and the future of mankind? These questions linger like whispers in the dark, urging you to peel back each layer of mystery and confront the uncomfortable truths hidden in every crumbling, wall and forsaken corridor. The Metro universe is more than a mere setting. It is a character in its own right. The desolation of the underground is rendered in gritty cinematic detail, from the echoing silence of long-abandoned stations to the flicker of failing neon lights that cast eerie shadows on graffiti-covered walls. It is a place of constant contrast. Moments of beauty found in the rusting metal and overgrown tunnels, juxtaposed against the raw brutality of mutant creatures and human desperation. In this environment, each step is a reminder of the fragility of civilization, while also symbolizing the indomitable spirit of survival that refuses to be extinguished. This cinematic tapestry is brought to life by a masterful blend of storytelling and immersive gameplay. The narrative is not linear, but unfolds like a sprawling epic, with each game inviting you deeper into its intricate lore and complex character relationships. The journey is as much about the external battles against hostile forces as it is about the internal struggles of individuals who must reconcile with their past and their uncertain futures. It is a world where every decision weighs heavily, where trust is fragile and betrayal looms in every shadow, and yet, amid the despair, glimmers of hope shine through, hope that one day perhaps the surface might be reclaimed. The very design of the Metro universe stokes curiosity and wonder. It challenges you to piece together the remnants of a shattered society, to listen to the silent testimonies of survivors, and to question the cost of progress. Why did humanity fall? Was it the unchecked power of technology, the hubris of political systems, or the inherent capacity for self-destruction within each individual? As you contemplate these questions, the Metro not only becomes a setting, but also a canvas upon which these themes are painted in stark, unforgettable detail. Every element in the Metro universe is meticulously crafted to evoke a deep emotional response, whether it's the oppressive weight of the underground, the bittersweet memories of a lost world, or the relentless drive to forge a new beginning out of the ruins. The haunting score, the visceral sound effects, and the raw, unfiltered visuals combine to create an atmosphere that is both oppressive and strangely liberating. It is in this paradox that the Metro achieves its true power. By immersing you so completely in its bleak vision, it compels you to reflect on your own inner darkness and the light that may yet shine within. As you navigate through these intertwined layers of past and present, hope emerges not as an abstract ideal, but as a tangible goal, a precious flickering flame that the protagonists guard with their lives. It is a reminder that even in the bleakest of circumstances, humanity possesses an innate resilience, a capacity to rebuild and redefine what it means to live. In unveiling the Metro universe, we are not just recounting a series of events or describing a dystopian landscape. We are exploring a profound narrative about the human condition. It is a story of transformation, of finding meaning in the struggle, and of daring to envision a future beyond the darkness. This epic retrospective invites you to witness the full breadth of that journey, to experience every heart-wrenching sacrifice and every spark of hope that defines the Metro series. So, as we stand at the threshold of this subterranean odyssey, let us embark together on a journey that transcends the mere mechanics of gameplay. Let us dive into a world that is as much about our inner battles as it is about the external chaos. Prepare to have your curiosity ignited, your emotions stirred, and your perspective forever altered as we uncover the sprawling, mysterious universe of Metro, a universe where every shadow tells a story, and every light, no matter how faint, promises a glimmer of hope. Metro 2033, The Awakening in Darkness. In the dim glow of a flickering overhead light, the harsh, claustrophobic world of Metro 2033 unfolds before us. Here, beneath the ruined remnants of Moscow, survival has become an art form, a relentless battle waged in the perpetual twilight of underground tunnels and abandoned stations. At the heart of this desolate universe stands Artyom, our reluctant yet determined protagonist. His journey begins amid a heavy silence that speaks louder than words, setting the stage for an odyssey that is as much about the inner workings of the human spirit as it is about facing the terrors lurking in the dark. Artyom awakens to a world he barely understands, a world forged in the aftermath of a catastrophic collapse that rendered the surface uninhabitable. The once grand city, now reduced to ash and memory, exists only as a cautionary tale whispered among survivors. In this subterranean refuge, humanity clings to life beneath layers of concrete and rusted metal, where every echo down the abandoned corridors reminds one of what has been lost. With nothing but his resolve and the faint light of hope in his eyes, Artyom steps out into the darkness, embarking on a journey that will change him forever. From the very first moment we witness his tentative steps into this grim underworld, the cinematic quality of the story captivates our imagination. The air is thick with dust and the weight of history, each breath a reminder of the relentless passage of time. As Artyom navigates the maze-like passages of his underground home, the silence is punctuated by distant, unidentifiable sounds that hint at unseen dangers. It is a world where every shadow might conceal a threat, and every narrow corridor could be the prelude to a deadly encounter. In these early moments, the narrative paints a vivid picture of desolation. The underground labyrinth is a relic of the bygone era above, its walls scarred by decades of neglect and decay. Here, the ambient glow of emergency light struggles to fend off the oppressive darkness. The very environment feels alive with a haunting presence, as if the tunnels themselves remember the chaos of the past and mourn the loss of life above. This is a place where humanity is forced to confront not only external perils, but also the ghosts of its former glory. Then, as if summoned by the darkness itself, the first violent confrontation shatters the stillness. Mutated creatures, once mere animals but now twisted by the toxic remnants of radiation, emerge from the depths, their grotesque forms moving with a feral, predatory grace. In a pulse-pounding moment of sheer terror, Artyom and his few companions find themselves besieged by these monstrous attackers. The chaos of the battle is framed with cinematic precision, the clashing of weapons, desperate cries echoing off the cold stone, and frantic, unsteady breathing captured in every heartbeat. In this moment, the full magnitude of the underground's cruelty and danger is revealed, a relentless onslaught designed to test the very limits of human endurance. Yet among the myriad threats that haunt these dark corridors, none is as striking or as enigmatic as the demon. In the midst of the chaos, as Artyom's small band of survivors struggles against the mutant onslaught, a shadowy figure descends with a terrifying inevitability. The demon, a grotesque winged aberration born of mutation and myth, appears. Without warning, its presence marked by a bone-chilling roar that reverberates through the tunnel. Its savage attack is sudden and devastating. In a tumultuous burst of violence, Artyom is overwhelmed, thrown violently to the ground. In that suspended moment, time appears to freeze, a cinematic pause capturing the full terror of his confrontation. The demon, emblematic of the unfathomable horrors that lurk in the remnants of a ruined world, seems to embody the collapse of a society that once knew beauty and order. Its attack not only shatters the fragile safety of the underground sanctuaries, but also ignites a burning curiosity. What force could have wrought such abhorrent transformation, and what does it portend for the future of the survivors? As the dust settles and the immediate threat fades back into the darkness, the echoes of the encounter leave behind an unsettling silence filled with questions. Who or what is this demon, and how did such twisted creatures come to be? The IQ. Haunting memory of the attack lingers in Artyom's mind, intertwining with his own doubts and fears. Every scar on the walls of the metro speaks of a past steeped in mystery and betrayal, a world that crumbled under its own weight while its people were left to fend for themselves in these suffocating tunnels. This initial foray into the underground is not only a test of Artyom's physical strength, but also of his inner resolve. With each pulse of adrenaline and every lingering moment of terror, he begins to grasp the enormity of his quest. To uncover the secrets of the metro, to trace the origins of its haunting inhabitants, and ultimately, to understand whether there remains a chance for redemption amidst the darkness. His journey is marked by a palpable tension between despair and hope, a tension that is both heart-wrenching and stirring. It is a journey that invites viewers to reflect on the nature of survival in a broken world, where every choice holds the potential to either rekindle the flame of human hope or extinguish it forever. The story of Metro 2033 unfolds like a gripping epic, set against a backdrop of apocalyptic horror and poetic melancholy. It tempts us with the promise of revelations hidden within its labyrinthine depths, urging us to question the very nature of our existence. What led to the downfall of the world above, and how did humanity come to be reduced to these subterranean enclaves? These questions form the undercurrent of Artyom's journey, a journey defined by its blend of brutal realism and surreal, almost mythic elements. In a world where the remnants of civilization are shrouded in mystery, the Metro is both a prison and a beacon of possibility, its very existence a testament to the enduring human spirit. In this dark recess of the past, Artyom's struggle is as much about facing the monsters that roam the tunnels as it is about confronting the ghosts of a lost world. His battle is not merely for survival, it is a deeply personal quest for truth, a search for meaning in the remnants of a civilization that dared to dream big, only to have those dreams shattered by the horrors of its own making. With each step he takes, Artyom draws closer to the heart of the Metro's secrets, igniting a spark of hope that even in the deepest darkness, the possibility of redemption remains. As the narrative of Metro 2033 begins its epic journey, it leaves us on the edge of anticipation, curious about what lies ahead and compelled by the raw emotional power of its story. In this brutal and mysterious universe, where every shadow tells a story and every flicker of light offers a chance at salvation, the awakening in darkness becomes not just an act of survival, but a declaration of human resilience. With its vivid imagery, heart-pounding action, and deeply introspective moments, Metro 2033 promises a cinematic adventure that will haunt your dreams and inspire you to question the limits of hope in a world reborn from the ashes. Prepare to join Artyom on this unforgettable journey, a journey that begins in the depths of despair and perhaps will lead to a glimmer of hope in the bleak expanses of darkness. Before the darkness, a glimpse into Artyom's past. Imagine the soft rumble of a day that once held promise, a day that seemed filled with the warmth of ordinary life before the world as we knew it began to crumble. In this reflective flashback to the early days of Metro 2033, we journey back a mere 8 days before the catastrophic events that would forever alter humanity's fate. Here, in the quiet moments before the storm, we catch a fleeting glimpse into Artyom's past, into a time when hope and routine still managed to shine, albeit dimly, against the encroaching shadow of desolation. It all begins with the gentle awakening of Artyom in his modest underground dwelling. As the first rays of artificial light filter through the cracks in a time-worn window, the world outside remains a mystery, yet to reveal its horrors. In those early hours, when the silence is almost sacred, Artyom stirs from sleep. His mind, though still half in the realm of dreams, begins to process the fragments of memory and the faint echoes of a life that once was. There is an unspoken weight in the air, a quiet tension that hints at the chaos soon to erupt. Artyom's awakening is tender and introspective. The muted light dances across the worn surfaces of his room, highlighting small personal items, a collection of photographs, a few cherished books, and mementos left behind by a past that now seems so distant. In this moment, before the surge of violence and despair, Artyom is simply a young man, vulnerable yet yearning for answers. His slow, deliberate movements as he sits up, rubs the sleep from his eyes, and listens to the distant murmurs of the underground reflect not only his physical state, but the early stirrings of a deep inner resolve. Shortly after, the routine of daily life resumes, a life that is about to be irrevocably changed. Artyom's stepfather, Alex, enters the scene with a comforting familiarity. Their conversation is understated, yet every word exchanged is laden with a sense of foreboding that neither of them fully understands. Alex, a figure both nurturing and stern, speaks in a tone that blends pragmatic wisdom with subtle hints of concern. As they talk, the dialogue is interspersed with small, seemingly insignificant details. The creak of a metal door, the distant echo of footsteps in the long, empty corridors of the metro. Yet, beneath these mundane exchanges lies an undercurrent of anxiety, a worry that the fragile peace may not last. Alex speaks of routine matters at first, of meeting old friends and of tending to the needs of their small community hidden within the labyrinthine tunnels beneath Moscow. But soon, his words take on a more somber note as he mentions a man named Hunter, a friend whose presence seems to carry the promise of clarity amid the growing uncertainty. The conversation quickly evolves from everyday concerns to questions of survival and the changes that have quietly seeped into every corner of their bleak world. Alex's voice, resonant with both authority and empathy, hints at experiences that lie beyond the safe confines of their home, experiences that Artyom is destined to face. It is during this conversation with Alex that subtle memories begin to surface in Artyom's mind, faint recollections of a world before the darkness took hold. He remembers laughter, the sounds of bustling streets, and the radiant colors of a world that has since faded into gray whispers. These memories are bittersweet. They stir within him a longing for a past filled with light and life, even as the present looms with the threat of an unknown, ominous future. Alex's recounting of events soon merges with the narrative of Hunter's imminent departure, to journey out and scout the situation that has left their world fragmented and vulnerable. With measured calm, Alex instructs Artyom on the importance of listening to Hunter's insights, a task that seems both vital and mysterious, hinting at forewarnings of what is yet to come. The flashback deepens as the scene shifts to a dialogue with Hunter himself, a conversation that feels like the gathering of storm clouds on an otherwise clear day. Hunter is portrayed as a man who has witnessed the gradual decay of the metro and understands, perhaps better than anyone else, the secrets and dangers that lie in wait. His words are measured, thoughtful, and filled with a quiet urgency. During his brief exchange with Alex and Artyom, Hunter describes unsettling signs, unexplained disturbances in the outer guard posts, whispers of mutant attacks, and the eerie absence of hope in the corridors that lie beyond their sanctuary. His voice carries a distinct edge of foreboding that sends chills down Artyom's spine. What, exactly, has triggered these ominous events? What dark force has so pervasively tainted the world above that now forces them all to live in these suffocating depths? As the conversation comes to a close, the scene leaves us with a barrage of unanswered questions, a sense of mystery that lingers like a persistent echo. What led to such desolation? How did a once thriving society fall victim to chaos and decay? These questions are not merely rhetorical, they are the seed of curiosity that propels Artyom's journey forward. Every nuance in Hunter's demeanor, every hint dropped by Alex, suggests that there is more to this catastrophic transformation than meets the eye. The answers, it seems, are buried deep within the forgotten narratives of a world that once soared with promise and now lies in tatters. In this evocative flashback, the juxtaposition of normalcy and foreboding creates a captivating tension. The early life of Artyom, full of tender moments and subtle warnings, lays the foundation for the epic journey that follows. The cinematic scope of these memories is both haunting and beautiful, a testament to the enduring human spirit even in the face of profound loss. Each word, each whispered hope, is meticulously crafted to evoke not only the inevitability of the coming darkness, but also the quiet strength that will drive Artyom to seek the truth. Before the onset of chaos in these precious 8 days, life in the metro is a fragile balance between mundane routine and the lurking potential for disaster. It is a time when the weight of history presses down on every survivor, when ordinary conversations hold the key to understanding extraordinary events. As Artyom listens to the familiar yet foreshadowed voices of those around him, he begins to grasp that his journey is not just a battle for survival, it is a quest for meaning, a search for the origins of this desolate world. This early chapter of Artyom's life is not only a look back at personal memories, but an invitation to the viewer. It asks us all to consider our own fleeting moments of peace, before the storms of life force us into the depths of struggle and despair? What if the calm before the storm held secrets that could change everything? In the silent echoes of the metro, as Artyom's heart beats in quiet determination, lies a promise that even in the darkest times, the flicker of hope can spark a journey that leads to redemption. Thus, as we step back from the present and immerse ourselves in the intimate recollections of Artyom's flashback, we are left with a powerful prelude, a glimpse into a past that is as enigmatic as it is vital to the unfolding narrative. It is here, in these early moments of awakening and subtle warning, that the seeds of destiny are sown. The metro, with all its mysteries and haunting beauty, begins to reveal its secrets, and with them, the undeniable question: what led to such desolation, and can the embers of hope ignite a future reclaimed from the shadows? From roadside picnic to a new dark age, in the shadowed recesses of imagination, where reality intertwines with the surreal, a profound story was born, a story that transformed the way we see a post-apocalyptic world. It all began with a peculiar book, a novel titled Roadside Picnic, penned by the visionary Strugatsky brothers. This work of fiction, rich with enigmatic wonder and foreboding mystery, became the wellspring from which the Metro universe would eventually emerge. Imagine a once ordinary picnic, where the simple act of sharing a meal with friends takes on a cosmic twist, a visitation by beings unknown, leaving behind remnants of a civilization forever altered. This is the origin of a narrative that would echo through the tunnels of a crumbling Moscow and usher humanity into a new dark age. Roadside Picnic describes an extraterrestrial event, a fleeting visit that left more questions than answers. The aliens came without warning, like enigmatic guests at an unsuspecting picnic, and then, just as mysteriously, they vanished, leaving behind scattered zones imbued with otherworldly phenomena. These zones became a symbol of both wonder and horror, pockets of space where the laws of nature twisted into incomprehensible forms, where time stood still and reality itself was distorted. It is as if the picnic turned into an eternal nightmare, forever haunting the margins of what was once a mundane existence. The impact of these visitations was profound. They left behind a legacy that permeated every facet of life, altering the fabric of society and nature itself. In the aftermath, humanity was forced to reckon with a world that was no longer familiar, a world where strange anomalies and unexplained forces became part of everyday life. The remnants of the extraterrestrial presence infused the landscape, with an eerie beauty and an even greater sense of isolation. The once vibrant tapestry of nature was now strewn with hazardous anomalies, transforming verdant fields into treacherous terrains, and cozy towns into ghostly enclaves of despair. For those who ventured into these zones, aptly named for their uncanny, unpredictable properties, each step was a descent into the unknown. This was not merely a backdrop for survival. It was a character in its own right, a brooding, sentient force that watched from the shadows, hinting at secrets lost to time. The novel captured this duality brilliantly, evoking a spectrum of emotions from awe to melancholy. It challenged its readers to question what it meant to witness the extraordinary. How does one reconcile beauty with terror when the remnants of a fantastical encounter loom large over a ravaged world? This poignant narrative resonated deeply with creators and gamers alike, seeding the fertile ground for a universe that could embody such intense, conflicted emotions. Out of this literary inspiration, the Metro universe was forged. The idea was not to simply transplant the bleak landscapes and eerie phenomena of Roadside Picnic into a game, but to expand upon them, to construct a world where the collapse of civilization and the desperate struggle for survival were intimately intertwined with the echoes of that enigmatic visitation. Picture, if you will, the desolation of Moscow, after the world as it was known came to an end, a place where humanity clung to life beneath the surface in the labyrinthine corridors of the metro. In this subterranean refuge, remnants of the old world mingled with the surreal artifacts left behind by the alien visitors. The metro became both a sanctuary and a prison, an intricate web of tunnels that held the last sparks of civilization. It is here, amidst the dimly lit passageways and forgotten platforms, that the eternal question arises. What truly led to this downfall? What were the secrets of that fateful visitation that could alter the very course of human destiny? The uncanny beauty of Roadside Picnic lies in its subtle interplay between hope and despair. It whispers of a world where the extraordinary is hidden in plain sight, where beauty and horror are but two sides of the same coin. In the Metro universe, this duality takes on an even more profound resonance. The eerie glow of phosphorescent fungi in the cavernous tunnels contrasts sharply with the grotesque silhouettes of mutated creatures that roam the darkness. Every element of the world is imbued with the chilling allure of what was once an ordinary existence, a reminder that before the darkness came there was light, and before the catastrophe there were dreams. Yet, the true genius of this origin story is its capacity to evoke an emotional response that lingers long after the last page is turned. It asks us to ponder the fragility of human existence and the unpredictable forces that shape our destiny. What does it mean to be transformed by an event beyond our control? How does one find hope in a world forever altered by the remnants of an alien presence? These questions are the lifeblood of the Metro universe, a constant undercurrent that challenges us to look inward and reconsider our own place in a vast, indifferent cosmos. The Strugatsky brothers' narrative, with its profound philosophical depth and haunting imagery, serves as a timeless testament to the power of speculative fiction. Its influence permeates every corner of the Metro universe, inspiring creators to build a world that is as challenging as it is beautiful. A world where every shadow conceals a story and every silent corridor echoes with the memories of what once was. In reflecting on this origin, we are compelled to ask, how does one transform the mundane into the magnificent? How does a simple idea, a picnic turned surreal by an extraterrestrial encounter, evolve into an entire universe brimming with mystery, despair, and the indomitable spark of hope? The legacy of Roadside Picnic is not confined to the pages of a book. It lives on in the hearts of those who dare to explore the mysteries of the Metro. It is this transformational power that has fueled decades of storytelling and gameplay, inviting us all to journey deep into a world where every moment is fraught with peril and every step forward is a testament to human resilience. As we unveil the roots of the Metro universe, the enigmatic influence of that first visitation continues to haunt our imaginations. It reminds us that even in the aftermath of devastation, there is a chance to rebuild, a chance to find meaning in the chaos. With each flash of neon light in the dark tunnels and each distant echo of lost voices, the Metro universe invites us to delve deeper into its secrets, to question the origins of our desolation, and ultimately, to discover the enduring power of hope amidst the ruins. In this cinematic odyssey, where every moment is a delicate balance between the reminiscence of past splendors and the grim reality of an unyielding dark age, the origin of the Metro universe stands as both a warning and a promise that even in the throes of utter desolation, the human spirit has the potential to ignite a new dawn. From Stalker to Metro, the evolution of a legend. In the dim corridors of gaming history, few stories are as deeply intertwined with both inspiration and innovation as the journey from Stalker to Metro. It is a tale of creative perseverance, where a group of passionate visionaries transformed the bleak aftermath of a nuclear disaster into a living, breathing universe that continues to capture our hearts and minds. This is not just about a game. It's about the evolution of an idea, a transformation that began with a groundbreaking studio and culminated in a legend that redefined the post-apocalyptic narrative. The saga started with the founding of GSC, Game World in Ukraine, a studio fueled by raw determination and an unyielding desire to tell stories that resonated beyond the screen. In the late 1990s, the ambitious minds at GSC dared to dream big, a dream that would lead them to create Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Set against the haunting backdrop of a nuclear disaster, Stalker captivated gamers with its atmospheric tension, expansive open worlds, and an eerie sense of despair tinged with unexpected beauty. The game wasn't merely a journey through a contaminated wasteland. It was an invitation to explore the ruins of a once thriving civilization and to confront the legacies left behind in the wake of catastrophe. What made Stalker truly memorable was its ability to evoke deep emotions through environmental storytelling. Each dilapidated structure, every silent corridor littered with the remnants of human existence, whispered secrets of a bygone era. It captured the essence of survival in a desolate world, a world where hope was as fragile as the crumbling concrete that lined its underground tunnels. This profound connection with the environment and its rich narrative tapestry laid the groundwork for what would later become the Metro universe. As GSC Game World continued to grow, the lessons learned from Stalker began to shape their creative vision. Amid the challenges of navigating a post-Soviet reality and the harsh economic conditions of the early 2000s, the studio's talent and tenacity shone through. Despite financial struggles and internal hurdles, the team held tightly to their belief in the power of immersive storytelling. They knew that the fusion of hard-edged survival with poetic melancholy was a formula that could transcend mere entertainment. It could move people. This evolving vision found a new voice with the publication of Dmitry Glukovsky's novel, Metro, 2033-1. Glukovsky's book, imbued with personal passion and philosophical depth, expanded on the ideas seated in Stalker. He took the grim reality of a post-apocalyptic Moscow, a city buried beneath the scars of nuclear devastation, and reimagined it as an underground refuge for humanity. Here, in the claustrophobic corridors of the Metro, survivors not only battled external mutant hordes but also waged an internal war of hope versus despair. The dark, sprawling labyrinth of the Moscow Metro became a symbol of the human spirit's resilience, a stark contrast to the radiant promise of the world that existed above. It was within these pages that the seeds for an entirely new universe were sown, a universe that would blend the haunting loneliness of Stalker with the raw emotional intensity of Glukovsky's vision. The Metro story resonated deeply with fans who had grown up on tales of nuclear ruin and desperate survival, providing a narrative bridge between literature and interactive media. The pages of Metro 2033 pulsed with possibility, hinting at both the suffering of the past and the glimmer of hope that might one day ignite a new dawn. Yet, transforming this literary masterpiece into a video game was no simple task. Enter 4A Games, a fledgling studio that emerged with a fresh perspective and an unrelenting commitment to quality storytelling. Born from the creative aftermath of internal strife at GSC Game World, 4A Games brought together a team of like-minded individuals who shared a singular vision: to honor the spirit of the Metro universe while pushing the boundaries of interactive entertainment. In many ways, their journey was as challenging as it was inspiring. Facing both technical and artistic challenges, the developers at 4A Games set out to create a game that would capture the haunting ambiance and emotional depth of Glukovsky's world. They knew that to do justice to the narrative, the game's environment had to be more than just a backdrop. It needed to be a living character in its own right. Every rusted rail, every shadowy corridor, and every flickering light was crafted with painstaking detail to evoke a sense of isolation and eternal struggle. The result was a first-person experience that plunged players into a world where every sound, every whisper of wind through abandoned tunnels stirred feelings of both dread and a desperate hope for salvation. The transition from Stalker's expansive, open-ended exploration to the more linear, narrative-driven journey of Metro 2033 marked a significant evolution in storytelling. Where Stalker invited players to wander and uncover mysteries at their own pace, Metro 2033 guided them along a path that was as much about introspection as it was about survival. It was a controlled descent into the unknown, where every step forward was accompanied by a reflection on humanity's fragility and the enduring will to rebuild what has been lost. This period of transformation was not without its sacrifices. The birth of 4A Games came amid financial constraints, high expectations, and an industry that was rapidly evolving. Yet, these obstacles only served to sharpen their resolve. Their commitment to creating an experience that was both emotionally engaging and visually spectacular meant pushing the limits of technology, fusing cutting-edge graphics with a narrative steeped in history and melancholy. The studio's passion for innovation was palpable, and every setback became a stepping stone that led to moments of resounding success. Today, as we look back on the journey from Stalker to Metro, we see a lineage of creative brilliance and unwavering perseverance. The evolution of these games is a testament to the power of art to transform despair into beauty, isolation into a shared human experience. It is a journey that encapsulates the collision of past horrors with the hope for a better tomorrow. A reminder that even from the deepest depths of darkness, a spark of light can emerge, defiant and unyielding. The story of the Metro universe is one of legacy and reinvention, a narrative thread that runs from the abandoned corridors of Chernobyl in Stalker to the solemn echoing chambers of the Moscow Metro in Metro 2033. It challenges us to ask profound questions. How can humanity survive in a world that has been irrevocably changed? What does it truly mean to rebuild when the very foundations of society have crumbled? And ultimately, can hope endure in the face of relentless desolation? This reflective moment in gaming history is as much about honoring the past as it is about charting a future where the lessons of our former world illuminate the path forward. As we trace the evolution from the raw, unpolished brilliance of Stalker to the meticulously crafted narrative of Metro 2033Y, we are reminded that every great legend is built on a foundation of struggle, sacrifice, and the indefatigable spirit of those who dare to dream, even when the world around them lies in ruins. In this cinematic journey, the birth of a studio and the transformation of a literary vision into a living, breathing game is not merely a historical footnote. It is an epic saga that continues to inspire and haunt us. It reminds us that within the grim pages of dystopia lies the promise of renewal, and within every dark tunnel, the potential for a new light to shine forth. Bridging Worlds. The books that gave birth to Metro. In a world where stories can shape reality, few sagas have left as indelible a mark on our collective imagination as the Metro series. At its heart lies a profound literary foundation, a book that not only dared to envision a post-apocalyptic world, but also set the stage for a revolutionary gaming experience. This journey, from the printed pages of dystopia to the immersive corridors of the Metro games, is a tale of transformation, creativity, and the mysterious power of storytelling. It all began with a singular work, a novel that captured the bleak beauty of a world forever altered. In the quiet murmur of turning pages, Dmitry Glukovsky's Metro 2033 emerged as more than just a story. It was a blueprint for survival. The book painted a vivid image of humanity's desperate retreat beneath the bustling streets of Moscow, where the remnants of civilization banded together in the dark, labyrinthine tunnels of the Metro. It was here, in the depths of despair and isolation, that Glukovsky's words lit a spark of hope amid the pervasive gloom. The novel's raw narrative, imbued with a haunting realism and philosophical introspection, laid the foundation for what would soon become a universe. It explored themes of human resilience, the cost of survival, and the eternal conflict between light and darkness. Every chapter of Metro 2033 resonated with the reader, inviting us to question what it means to truly live when the surface of our world has been condemned. And within its pages, the seeds of a new dark age were sown, one where the terror of the unknown and the struggle for humanity's survival were as palpable as the very air that filled the underground corridors. Yet, while the book is rich with detail and nuance, its literary scope leaves much to the imagination. There are mysterious hints and enigmatic references, fleeting images of spectral figures, cryptic symbols etched into crumbling walls, and profound, almost otherworldly descriptions of the mutated landscapes above, that the game adaptations only brush upon. These tantalizing details evoke a sense of wonder and curiosity. They whisper of secrets too vast to be fully unraveled on paper, mysteries that beckon to those brave enough to step into the darkness and explore further. When transitioning from the book to the game, creators face the formidable challenge of capturing this literary essence without diluting its impact. The Metro games, developed with visionary precision, sought to transport players from the quiet contemplation of a reader's mind into an intensely visceral first-person experience. In the game, the dark corridors of the Metro are not mere backdrops, but living entities that echo with history and regret. Every flickering light, every distant sound, is a reminder of the fragile boundary between survival and oblivion. The decision to adapt such a dense literary work into an interactive medium was nothing short of revolutionary. It required a delicate balance, preserving the introspective mood and intricate detail of Glukhovsky's narrative while allowing gamers to forge their own paths through this subterranean world. The adaptations captured the grim beauty and haunting isolation of the original text, yet they inevitably had to streamline certain plot elements to fit the rhythm of gameplay. In doing so, they left some of the book's most elusive mysteries to the imagination, offering only a shadow of the full literary experience. This gap, however, is not a flaw. Rather, it is an invitation, a call to those who yearn for the deeper mysteries hidden within the text. Consider the way the novel describes the visitations, moments when an otherworldly force seemed to have touched the devastated remnants of civilization. In the book, these events are rendered with poetic subtlety, their true nature left open to interpretation. The game, while paying homage to these cryptic occurrences, touches only briefly on their inexplicable origins, preserving an air of mystique and leaving players pondering long after the credits roll. The sparse details create an echo of the unknown, a lingering question. What truly precipitated the downfall of our world? It is this delicate interplay between light and shadow, the known and the unknowable, that gives the Metro universe its enduring allure. This literary to digital bridge is also a study in contrasts. The book's prose is richly layered, inviting readers to linger over every descriptive passage and reflect on each metaphor. In contrast, the game translates these layers into visual and auditory experiences. The clatter of a distant train, the eerie hum of the underground, and the oppressive silence of abandoned stations become the game's language, a cinematic expression of the same themes that haunt the pages of the novel. Yet this translation is never complete. It always leaves the player with a lingering sense of the book's intricate subtext, urging them to ask, what else might be hidden in the darkness? The conversion of literary depth to interactive experience is an art form that demands both fidelity and innovation. The developers behind the Metro games understood this challenge well. They embraced the opportunity to evoke the same feeling of isolation, the same internal struggle that defined the novel, by designing game environments that feel as if they have a soul. Each tunnel, each station, is infused with a melancholic narrative, visual echoes of a society that once thrived above ground but now survives only in memory and myth. This immersive world beckons players to explore not only its physical spaces, but also the deeper questions that lie at the heart of human existence. Moreover, the transition from book to game has broadened the appeal of the Metro universe. While the novel captivated its readers with its introspective meditation on decay and rebirth, the game invites a different kind of audience, a generation that seeks active engagement and emotional resonance through interactivity. For the player, the Metro is more than a setting. It is an existential stage where every decision carries weight. Every encounter is both a danger and a discovery. And as players navigate this underground labyrinth, they are constantly reminded of the world beyond, a world that may seem distant and forgotten, but still holds the promise of redemption. Yet, amid all these adaptations and creative reinterpretations, one truth remains unaltered. The Metro universe was born from a singular, powerful vision. It is a vision of what the world might become when all is lost. A world where survival comes at the cost of both the spirit and the soul, yet where the possibility of hope still flickers like the faint glow of a dying light. The literary origins serve as the heartbeat of this universe, a pulse that echoes through every game, every scene, and every moment of introspection and action. As we journey through the Metro universe, through its dark tunnels and into the heart of its enigmatic past, we are reminded that some stories are too vast, too profound, to be confined to a single medium. The books gave birth to this haunting reality, setting a foundation upon which the games could build, each lending its unique voice to a narrative that resonates with the human experience. And in that intermingling of literature and interactive storytelling, we find not just a series of games, but a timeless exploration of loss, hope, and the eternal human struggle against darkness. In bridging these worlds, the Metro series not only pays homage to its literary roots, but also dares to reimagine them. It challenges us to look beyond the visible scars of our crumbling world and to search for the secret, hidden beauty that lies beneath. With each step deeper into the Metro, we carry with us the echoes of a past long gone and the tantalizing promise of a future that may yet be reclaimed. The books remain as a mysterious, enduring testament to the power of storytelling, a legacy that continues to inspire, haunt, and ultimately give birth to legends. Journey. Beneath. The descent of Artyom into the Metro. In a world shrouded in darkness and despair, one man dares to descend into the depths where the remnants of humanity cling to survival. Artyom's journey is one of both physical peril and profound inner awakening, a passage from the fragile safety of an underground refuge to the unforgiving, enigmatic world that lies beyond. As the walls of the Metro envelop him, every echo in the tunnel whispers secrets of a past now lost and hints at mysteries yet to be discovered. Artyom's story begins in a place that, for many, is simply a sanctuary from the devastation of a ruined world. The Metro is not merely a series of abandoned stations and winding tunnels. It is a living monument to a bygone era, a refuge built from despair, where every step forward is an act of defiance against the chaos that reigned above. Ground. For Artyom, the Metro represented order amid the collapse, a small yet persistent bastion of humanity amid darkness. And yet, even within these familiar confines, the call of the unknown tugs at his heart. From the moment he first awakens within the cramped quarters of his station, there is an undeniable restlessness in Artyom's soul. Life underground is predictable, a ceaseless rhythm of routine punctuated by fleeting moments of hope. But as he listens to the distant rumble of machines and the murmurs of his fellow survivors, he begins to sense that there is more to existence than the claustrophobic safety of the tunnels. The shadows that dance along the graffiti-laced walls seem to carry the voices of those long gone, urging him forward into a world that he has only known through whispered legends and half-forgotten dreams. As Artyom steps out into the decaying corridors of the Metro, the air itself feels charged with memories and secrets. The corridors are dim, lit only by the pale glow of emergency lights and the intermittent flicker of failing power. Every surface, peeling posters, rusted metal beams, and the stained tiles of old platforms, tells a story. For Artyom, this journey is both a physical ordeal and a descent into the recesses of his own mind. Each step he takes is measured, cautious, yet fueled by an unyielding determination to understand the world that has been forsaken. The cacophony of distant sounds, the drip of water echoing through empty tunnels, the distant clatter of debris, shifting in the dark, and the soft, almost imperceptible hum of ventilation systems creates a haunting symphony. It is in this symphony that Artyom feels the pulse of the Metro. It is as if the very walls are alive with secrets yearning to be told. With every step, his heartbeat seems to synchronize with the rhythm of the underground, a relentless drum that reminds him that he is both a part of this decaying world and an outsider seeking to comprehend it. As he moves deeper, the path becomes less a well-trodden route and more an uncharted labyrinth. The glow of the exit looms faintly at the end of a long, winding corridor. At times, the darkness is so complete that Artyom can barely see his own hand in front of his face. Yet, the prospect of what lies beyond each bend spurs him on. There is something almost magnetic about the unknown, a promise of both salvation and danger that beckons him further into the abyss. What secrets await him in the dark tunnels? One might wonder as the silence around him grows heavier, punctuated only by his steady, determined footsteps. Emotion surges within him, a tumult of fear, hope, and a tinge of longing for something he cannot yet name. Memories of a world before devastation flash in his mind as he passes remnants of old life. A broken photograph, a long-forgotten piece of art, a scrap of paper bearing faded words. These fragments of the past serve as both comfort and a cruel reminder of all that was lost. For Artyom, each relic is a spark of the fire that once illuminated the world above, now reduced to a whisper echoing in the vast, dark corridors of the metro. In the quiet moments between the relentless pace of his journey, Artyom's thoughts drift to questions that have haunted him since childhood. Where did it all go wrong? How did the world outside crumble into rubble and chaos? These questions reverberate inside him, mingling with the cold, damp air of the tunnels. They are questions with no easy answers, locked within the very fabric of a fallen civilization. And yet, as he treks further into the darkness, he senses that the metro might hold clues to these mysteries. Clues that could eventually offer a glimmer of hope or a bitter truth. The environment itself becomes a mirror to Artyom's inner state. The deeper he descends, the more the corridors seem to narrow, the ceilings lower, and the shadows deeper. It is as if the physical confinement of the tunnels reflects the internal confinement of his thoughts, a tightening spiral that challenges him to break free from the limitations imposed by both his environment and his mind. The journey is arduous, each step laden with the weight of despair, yet also the quiet promise of discovery. There is beauty in this bleakness, a poignant, almost cinematic quality to the decay that tells a story of resilience and quiet determination. At times, the experience verges on the surreal. When a sudden noise, perhaps the scuttle of unseen creatures or the distant roar of collapsing structures, interrupts his silent contemplation, Artyom is momentarily jolted back to the reality of his precarious situation. In those fleeting moments, the sense of isolation is overwhelming, but it is quickly tempered by the realization that he is not alone in his struggle. The metro is populated by those who have learned to endure, to forge bonds of unspoken solidarity, even amid the darkness. Their silent presence, like ghosts of the past, reminds him that even in the depths of desolation, life still persists, and with it, the persistent, quiet hope of a better tomorrow. Yet despite the overwhelming gravity of his surroundings, there is an unmistakable spark of defiance in Artyom's stride. The decision to journey into the heart of the metro is not made lightly. It is the manifestation of a soul unwilling to accept stagnation, of a man who believes that even in the darkest places there can be illumination. Each step is a testament to his courage, a declaration that he and perhaps all of humanity are capable of finding meaning in a world shattered by catastrophe. As the path stretches before him, winding deeper and into greater darkness, Artyom's mind fills with both dread and anticipation. What will he find in the labyrinthine tunnels? Will he uncover remnants of lost knowledge, echoes of a forgotten past, or the raw, unfiltered essence of a world on the edge? These are the questions that linger in the heavy silence, questions that propel him forward even as the weight of the metro's history threatens to pull him into oblivion. This is the beginning of a transformative journey, a descent into not just the physical underbelly of a devastated city, but into the complexities of the human spirit itself. As Artyom ventures forth, each step into the echoing darkness is an invitation to the viewer. Join him on this perilous, emotional quest. Feel the cold touch of uncertainty and the gentle warmth of hope intertwined in the corridors of the metro. And so, with a heart both burdened and buoyed by the mysteries of the underground, Artyom takes one final, resolute step. The darkness ahead is impenetrable, a canvas for the unknown, and he is ready to confront whatever awaits, armed with nothing but his will to survive and a burning desire to understand a world that once was. The journey has just begun, and with every heartbeat echoing in the cavernous silence, the metro reveals itself as a place where even the deepest gloom can give rise to the faint, enduring glow of hope. What awaits him in this shadowy realm remains locked in mystery, a promise of both danger and revelation that will forever change the course of his life. And for us, the onlookers, the descent of Artyom into the metro becomes not only an epic saga of survival, but also a poignant reminder. Even in the darkest depths, there is a story. One of resilience, of conflict, and ultimately, of the human spirit's relentless quest for light. In the clutches of the mutants, survival in a ruined world. In the bowels of the ruined metro, where the remnants of humanity huddle beneath the scars of a world gone mad, Survival is not merely a struggle, it is a fight for life against forces, both seen and unseen. Every step taken in the shadowed corridors is fraught with danger, as grotesque mutant creatures lurk in the dark, poised to pounce upon the unsuspecting. Here, in the desolate underbelly of Moscow, the fight for survival is a relentless battle against nature's most twisted offspring, a world where every heartbeat could be your last, and every breath might be your last hope. As Artyom forges his path through the labyrinthine tunnels, the air grows thick with the stench of decay and the sharp tang of fear. The deserted platforms and crumbling walls are but silent witnesses to countless battles fought in desperation and rage. Mutants, once animals of this earth, now deformed by radiation and time, skitter across the debris-strewn floors and hide within the shadows. Their distorted features and unnatural movements evoke an almost primal terror, a reminder of what the world has become. In this grim reality, every encounter is a desperate bid for life. The tension mounts as Artyom advances deeper into the unknown. In a narrow passage lit only by the intermittent flicker of failing emergency lights, the distant echo of an otherworldly screech sends a shiver down his spine. The sound reverberates off the cold, damp walls like a death knell. With his senses sharpened by the need to survive, he clutches his weapon tightly, a meager safeguard against an enemy that defies all conventional notions of nature and order. How can one man fight against such overwhelming darkness? The question silently echoes in the void, both to him and to us, the witnesses of his solitary battle. In one harrowing moment, a pack of mutants bursts forth from a hidden alcove. Their eyes, glowing with an eerie luminescence, fixate on him with a predatory intensity. The ensuing clash is like an inferno of raw, desperate violence. Artyom fights with a mix of instinct and honed skill, each movement a blend of precise calculation and frantic energy. The sound of clashing metal, the grunts of exertion, and the unearthly shrieks of his foes create a symphony of chaos that is as terrifying as it is mesmerizing. Every swing of his weapon is punctuated by the sickening thud of impact, each parry, a narrow escape from a blow that could end his life. Amid the chaos, the cinematic quality of this struggle transforms the battle into a high-stakes dance. The camera of our imagination captures slow-motion fragments, sweat beading on Artyom's brow, the twist of his determined gaze, and the grotesque, contorted figures of the mutants lunging toward him. In that suspended moment, the struggle transcends mere survival. It becomes a profound statement on the resilience of the human spirit when confronted with horrors that defy description. There is beauty in his defiance, a single flame that refuses to be snuffed out in a sea of darkness. The treacherous environment itself is a silent, unyielding adversary. The metro is an ever-shifting maze where familiar corridors can quickly morph into deadly traps. Collapsed ceilings, unstable debris, and toxic mists add to the peril, intensifying the battle against the mutant threat. As Artyom navigates this perilous terrain, he is constantly aware that not only must he contend with the physical onslaught of monstrous beings, but he must also battle the oppressive weight of isolation and despair. Every clang of falling rubble, every distant groan of metal, hints at further dangers hidden in the depths. In this forsaken world, every step forward is a victory, a defiant act against fate. Yet despite the relentless horror, there is an unspoken dignity in the struggle. The mutants, for all their savagery, are tragic aberrations, a stark mirror reflecting humanity's own self-destructive impulses. Their distorted forms speak of a transformation wrought by calamity. They are a nightmare, realized a consequence of a civilization pushed to its limits. In facing them, Artyom is not only fighting for his own survival, but also confronting the legacy of a ruined world. A world where the boundaries of morality and nature have blurred into an eternal twilight of uncertainty. The question lingers. In a realm where every shadow conceals a lethal threat, where the very air is heavy with the sorrow of lost memories, can a single man hope to alter the course of destiny? As Artyom battles through the onslaught of mutant fury, his struggle becomes emblematic of a larger truth, the undying will to resist, to endure, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable darkness. This is not just a fight against monstrous creatures. It is a visceral, heart-wrenching journey into the depths of despair and a desperate quest to reclaim even a fragment of hope. In these critical moments, the sound of his labored breathing and the rhythmic pounding of his heart form a constant reminder of his fragile mortality. The stakes are monumental, yet amid the terror and chaos, there is an undeniable sense of purpose. Every encounter with the mutants is a lesson in survival, teaching him to trust his instincts, to adapt, and to fight with every ounce of strength he possesses. His journey is punctuated by these brutal skirmishes, each one a test of his resolve and a step further into the enigmatic, perilous heart of the Metro. As the battle ebbs and flows, the Metro reveals its dual nature. It is both a tomb for the old world and a crucible for the rebirth of the human spirit. The echoes of past lives and the remnants of a shattered society serve as a somber backdrop to Artyom's relentless struggle. In the depths of the underground, amid the clutches of the mutants, survival is more than a means to an end. It is a defiant proclamation that even in the darkest of circumstances, the spark of hope continues to burn. Each pulse of his heart, every drop of sweat, is a promise that life, no matter how scarred, is worth fighting for. So, as we bear witness to this unyielding struggle, we are left with one haunting thought. In a world overrun by mutant nightmares and perpetual despair, what does it truly take for one man to defy the darkness? Artyom's battle is a beacon of resilience, a stirring call to embrace the fight against the inexorable tide of destruction, even if the odds seem overwhelmingly bleak. And in his quest, we are reminded that sometimes the most profound victories are born from the simplest act of defiance, the decision to keep moving forward, one desperate step at a time. Echoes of humanity, life and loss in the underground. Beneath the scorched remnants of a world lost to nuclear devastation, the Metro stands as both a refuge and a tomb, a labyrinthine sanctuary where survivors cling to the remnants of what once was and where every echo in the darkness tells the story of human resilience. In Metro 2033, the struggle for survival is not defined solely by the battle against grotesque mutant foes, but by the profound, bittersweet human experiences that resonate in every worn corridor and shadowed platform. Even in the depths of despair, a spark of hope endures, a tender flame that flickers in the hearts of those who refuse to surrender their humanity. Artyom's journey through the Metro transcends the physical conflict against external enemies. It is, at its core, a deeply personal odyssey into the soul of a broken civilization. In the midst of violence and relentless horror, he discovers the small yet powerful moments of connection, the soft murmur of a whispered memory, a fleeting smile shared between weary survivors, or the quiet dignity of a father comforting his child in a world where hope is as rare as clean water. These moments, though transient, underscore the essence of what remains when everything else has crumbled, the undying spirit of humanity. In one of his most poignant diary entries, Artyom writes, "In the darkest corners of the Metro, where even the dimmest light seems to have been snuffed out, I have seen kindness. A shared meal, a gentle word, even a silent nod of acknowledgement, all these make the endless night seem a little less cold." Such reflections remind us that within the brutal reality of the Metro, the human need for connection and compassion persists with quiet determination. Their lives are a tapestry woven from both agony and solace, a continuous interplay between loss and the will to persevere. The residents of the Metro are a testament to humanity's capacity to endure. Each station, isolated and self-contained, is a microcosm of society where traditions and daily rituals offer comfort amid chaos. People have learned to celebrate life in the most unorthodox ways. In cramped living quarters, around flickering campfires, families gather not only to share stories of the old world, but also to hope for a new beginning. Children, raised entirely underground, play in the dim light with homemade toys, their laughter a fragile defiance of the harsh realities that define their existence. This daily struggle is imbued with both tragedy and quiet warmth, a shared acknowledgement that life is precious, even if it is marked by loss. Artyom's personal reflections often capture these dualities. In one heartfelt journal entry, he laments, "I have seen stations where people have lost everything, loved ones, hope, the very will to continue. And yet, even in these desolate places, I have witnessed a spark of human kindness that defies the darkness. Such confessions are not simply records of survival, but introspective meditations on the nature of loss and renewal. They remind us that every small act of mercy or kindness is an act of rebellion against the oppressive weight of desolation. Amid the constant threat of mutant attacks and the ever-looming specter of starvation, the human spirit in the metro is nurtured by memories of a world that once was. Photographs of sunlit streets, handwritten letters that recall days of peace, and even the faded echoes of music. All these relics serve as bridges to the past, offering comfort and sometimes painful reminders of what has been sacrificed. Even as the world above has withered into a wasteland of forgotten dreams, the heart of our community beats strong in the metro's underground halls. Artyom reflects in another diary entry. For every tear shed, there is a silent pledge to remember, and in remembering, to find the strength to endure. The architecture of the metro stations themselves becomes a canvas for these human stories. Each station is a mosaic of memories, scratched walls that bear the marks of years of hardship, communal areas where laughter mingles with sorrow, and quiet corridors where the weight of history presses down with almost tangible force. In these spaces, the echoes of lost voices guide the survivors through their daily struggles, urging them to hold on even when the darkness seems impenetrable. Yet, despite their best efforts to carve out a semblance of order and meaning, there is an ever-present reminder of the fragility of this underground society. The constant threat of external invasion, the mutant hordes that prowl the tunnels, casts a long shadow over the fragile sanctuaries of human life. In the quiet moments before a fierce skirmish, Artyom often finds himself contemplating the paradox of hope in a place defined by ruin. What price do we pay for the last vestiges of hope, he wonders, his words resonating like a prayer in the empty halls. Must we forever fight not only for survival, but for the very right to live with dignity? This relentless duality between preserving life and succumbing to despair has become the defining struggle of the metro. It is a struggle that is as much about the external battles with mutated forces as it is about the internal battles waged within each survivor's heart. The metro is a mirror reflecting the depths of human endurance. In the flickering light of its narrow corridors, one can see not just the horror of what has been lost, but also the resilience that kindles the hope of what might still be possible. In the midst of chaos, art and culture have not been entirely erased. Throughout the metro, you find signs of creative expression. A mural painted with vibrant colors in an otherwise drab environment, a carefully preserved book that someone dared to share, a whispered recitation of poetry in the dark. These fragments of culture are powerful reminders that even when society is reduced to its barest elements, the yearning for beauty and meaning endures. They stand as symbols of a future that might one day rise from the ashes of the present. The human stories of the metro are layered with complexity. They are the stories of loss, but also of quiet heroism. They are the stories of families torn apart by catastrophe, yet finding solace in small gatherings and shared glances filled with unspoken promises of reunion. They are the stories of a generation that has known nothing but darkness, yet has refused to let it define them. In the metro, every heartbeat is a defiant drum against oblivion. Artyom's journal reads, a sentiment that encapsulates the indomitable will of those who call this underground labyrinth their home. As we reflect on these poignant moments, we are left with a profound question. What does it mean to truly live when the world above is a silent wasteland of lost dreams? In the metro, where time seems to stand still and every passing day is a reminder of what once was, hope is both a fragile flower and a fierce battle cry. It is in these hidden depths, far removed from the chaos of the surface, that the echoes of humanity resonate most powerfully, whispering of a future where even in the darkest places, life finds a way to endure. In Echoes of Humanity, Life and Loss in the Underground, we witness not only the profound suffering of those trapped beneath a shattered world, but also the unwavering spirit that endures. Their stories compel us to ask, How can we, as mere observers, not feel an urgent, empathetic call to preserve these faint yet persistent traces of hope? The Metro is more than a game. It is a living, breathing narrative of what remains of humanity when all else fades into darkness. Metro Last Light, Emergence of a New Hope and Shadow. In the aftermath of a cataclysm that drove humanity deep beneath the earth, a fragile new chapter emerges in the form of Metro Last Light. As Artyom's journey continues from the desolation of the Metro 2033, the narrative takes on a different cadence, one where hope and despair are in constant, uneasy balance. This chapter of the Metro saga is a cinematic tapestry, woven with threads of renewed determination and lingering sorrow, setting the stage for an evolution of story and character that both honors its origins and dares to explore uncharted emotional depths. From the very first moments of Metro Last Light, players are introduced to a world that has changed. Gone are the raw, unfiltered horrors of the underground tunnels that defined Metro 2033I. Now, the corridors echo with both the faint whispers of past tragedies and the stirring murmurs of a reluctant hope, a hope that dares to challenge the relentless darkness. This new installment is not just a continuation of Artyom's desperate quest for survival, it is an evolution of his inner world, where every step forward is burdened by the weight of what has been lost, yet emboldened by what might still be saved. The story picks up where its predecessor left off, but it is told through a lens that is subtly shifted, more introspective, more fragmented, and laced with the bittersweet resonance of memories and dreams. Artyom, now tempered by his previous ordeals, is no longer simply a reluctant survivor fighting back against an unyielding foe. Instead, he becomes a reluctant bearer of hope, a figure caught between the allure of new beginnings and the inevitable pull of the past. The narrative is richer, with quieter moments that offer a glimpse into his soul. Moments where the soft echoes of a forgotten lullaby or a shared smile in the dim light of a neglected station speak volumes of the resilience of the human spirit. One cannot help but notice the way Metro Last Light interweaves hope into the very fabric of its storytelling. Amid the relentless struggle against mutant hordes and the ever-present threat of annihilation, there is a palpable sense that, within the bowels of this ruined underground, a flicker of light persists. It is as if the shattered remnants of civilization are not entirely lost, if only one dares to look closely. The game's narrative leaves us to wonder, what new truths will be revealed as the darkness deepens? What secrets lie hidden in the long-forgotten corridors of the Metro, and how will they reshape our understanding of this broken world? The shift in narrative tone from Metro 2033 is as noticeable as it is deliberate.
While the earlier installment plumbed the depths of despair with unflinching brutality, Metro Last Light offers a counterpoint, a delicate intermission of hope that illuminates the harshness of its surroundings. This balance of light and dark
mirrors the internal conflict faced by Artyom himself. His every step is marked by the bittersweet recognition that to live is to carry the burden of memory, yet to hope is to risk everything for a chance at redemption. His journey becomes both a physical and an emotional odyssey, a descent not just into the labyrinthine tunnels of the Metro, but also into the recesses of his own heart. In vivid cinematic detail, the game captures the claustrophobic isolation of life underground, while also offering rare glimpses of the surface, a world both remembered and imagined. Each scene is meticulously crafted to evoke a sense of intimacy, as if the viewer is right there with Artyom, feeling the cold touch of the wall, hearing the distant clamor of mutant roars, and sensing the quiet, desperate determination in his eyes. The environments themselves are characters in their own right. Flickering lights, crumbling infrastructure, and graffiti-stained walls serve as silent testaments to a past life, even as nature begins its slow reclamation of these forgotten spaces. This new chapter in the Metro saga is driven by subtle narrative shifts that encourage players to reflect on what it means to be human in a world that has been irrevocably altered. The storytelling is punctuated by internal monologues and poignant diary entries, snippets of Artyom's thoughts that reveal his inner turmoil and enduring hope. He writes of the faces of those he has lost, the fleeting moments of camaraderie that seem to defy the crushing isolation of the Metro, and the haunting beauty that can be found even in the decay of a once thriving civilization. Even in the bleakest darkness, one entry reads, a single ember of hope can ignite a revolution of the soul. Such words resonate deeply, inviting the viewer to ponder the complex interplay between despair and the eternal human desire for connection and renewal. Yet, amid the glimmers of hope, Metro Last Light does not shy away from the raw, unvarnished reality of survival. The tension is palpable in every encounter, the sound of distant explosions, the echo of footsteps in narrow passageways, and the chilling reminder that danger lurks just beyond the next bend. It is this constant interplay between the promise of salvation and the threat of oblivion that gives the game its emotional power. Every decision Artyom makes is fraught with uncertainty, each confrontation with mutant adversaries a reminder that hope is a luxury and that survival often comes at a steep, heart-wrenching cost. What sets this chapter apart is not merely its continuation of the Metro narrative, but its transformation of it. Whereas Metro 2033 offered a straightforward, if brutal, exposition of a post-apocalyptic reality, Metro Last Light enriches that foundation with layers of subtlety and introspection. It invites players to ask profound questions about destiny, loss, and the possibility of rebirth amidst ruins. How does one preserve humanity when every day is a struggle for mere existence? What sacrifices must be made to cling to hope in a world determined to extinguish it? These questions, woven seamlessly into the narrative, elevate the game beyond mere survival horror into a deeply emotional epic, a story that lingers long after the screen fades to black. In this evolving narrative, hope and tragedy are not mutually exclusive, but are inextricably intertwined. The resurgence of hope in Metro Last Light is a double-edged sword. It offers a glimmer of light in the overwhelming darkness, yet it also highlights the magnitude of what has been lost. The game's narrative structure is designed to build suspense gradually, drawing the audience into a world where every moment is charged with both anticipation and introspection. The shifting dynamics of fleeting triumphs shadowed by looming despair are masterfully portrayed, creating an immersive experience that is as intellectually stimulating as it is viscerally thrilling. Ultimately, Metro Last Light stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. It is a story of endurance, of quiet strength in the face of insurmountable odds. As players accompany Artyom on his arduous journey through a labyrinth of despair and hope, they are compelled to reflect on their own lives, on the nature of resilience, and on the enduring power of the human spirit, even when surrounded by shadows. In this new chapter, every heartbeat, every whispered word, and every echo in the dark becomes a reminder that even in the most desolate corners of existence, the promise of a new dawn is never truly extinguished. The journey in Metro Last Light is not just a continuation of a post-apocalyptic saga. It is an invitation to rediscover the enduring light within us all. What new truths will be unveiled as Artyom navigates the treacherous yet strangely hopeful corridors of this forsaken underground? That, dear viewer, is a mystery waiting to be unraveled in the next chapter of this timeless odyssey. Whispers in the Dark. The power of journals in the Metro saga. In the haunting corridors of the Metro universe, storytelling is as much an experience as it is an immersion. One cannot help but be drawn into the hidden corners of this world. Corners, where voices from the past echo softly through handwritten journals and where intimate confessions offer more than just mere dialogue. In the Metro saga, the narrative pace is masterfully divided between the quiet, reflective passages of Artyom's journal entries and the brisk, often clipped exchanges of direct dialogue between characters. This dichotomy creates a rich tapestry of storytelling, blending introspection with immediate action, and invites players to explore not only a ruined, post-apocalyptic world, but also the deep, often painful inner life of its inhabitants. The journal entries are a gateway to the internal world of Artyom, providing a window into his soul that direct dialogue rarely captures. In these written fragments, time seems to slow down, allowing us to pause and reflect on every decision, every memory, and every flicker of hope that still burns in this desolate underworld. The gentle cadence of each journal entry invites us to step closer, to listen intently as Artyom grapples with his doubts, his losses, and the bleak reality surrounding him. It is through these moments of quiet solitude that the true emotional weight of his journey is revealed, a weight that is both crushing and, paradoxically, sustaining. In contrast, the direct dialogue between characters in Metro is often sharp, purposeful, and laden with urgency. Conversations among survivors are driven by the immediate need for information, survival tactics, or the exchange of brief, necessary reassurances. These dialogues, while efficient in conveying critical plot points, tend to skim the surface of human emotion. They capture the raw essentials of communication in a crisis, but they frequently leave the subtle nuances of inner turmoil unexpressed. As a result, while both methods of storytelling serve their purpose, the introspective journal entries stand out as particularly powerful in forging a deep connection with the audience. Consider the way Artyom's journals detail his internal conflicts. Each entry is a carefully laid out mosaic of memory and emotion, a series of whispered confessions that hint at a past filled with both light and shadow. His words, often written in moments of solitude within the cramped confines of a metro station, reveal a man burdened by responsibility and haunted by the ghosts of a lost world. Even in the darkest times, he writes, a spark of hope can still flicker in the corners of the soul. Such lines are far more than mere narrative exposition. They are a call to introspection, urging us to examine our own capacity for resilience in the face of overwhelming loss. What makes the journal format so uniquely compelling is its ability to capture emotions in a manner that is both raw and lyrical. The handwritten notes, with their occasional corrections, faded ink, and personal quirks, lend a human touch to Artyom's inner monologue that cannot be replicated in rapid-fire dialogue. With every page, a layer of his character is peeled away, revealing vulnerabilities and convictions in equal measure. For the player, these fragments become clues to a larger puzzle. Each entry carries with it a sense of mystery, hints of what was, and suggestions of what might yet be. They raise questions that linger in the mind. Questions like, what secrets does Artyom hide beneath his stoic exterior? Or, how have the scars of the past reshaped his understanding of hope? The pace of the narrative in these journal entries is deliberate. Unlike the often hurried back and forth of spoken dialogue, the journals allow for moments of pause. They offer breathing space in a world otherwise defined by constant peril and chaos. In these quiet interludes, the player is invited to linger, on the weight of every word, to savor the poetic melancholy that pervades the Metro universe. This reflective pace not only enhances the emotional intensity of the story, but also deepens our investment in Artyom's quest. It is as if time itself bends in the dim light of the Metro, each second stretched out to reveal the fragile beauty of human endurance. Moreover, the journals serve as historical records, personal archives that preserve the legacy of a world that has almost been forgotten. They document the slow disintegration of society, recording the final whispers of a civilization that once flourished above ground. When players read these entries, they are not merely following a linear plot. They are piecing together a complex puzzle, one in which every diary note contributes to the understanding of a catastrophic event and its aftermath. The fragmented nature of these narratives invites speculation and discussion. What led to such widespread desolation? The player ponders as they encounter hints of mutant horrors and apocalyptic calamities, all meticulously recorded by a survivor who has seen the very end of humanity. This method of storytelling through journals also invites a personal connection. There is an intimacy in reading someone's private thoughts, a vulnerability that draws you in on a visceral level. In a game where survival is measured by one's ability to navigate treacherous tunnels and evade mutant foes, these moments of introspection reveal a different kind of battle. The internal struggle to retain one's humanity amidst overwhelming despair. While characters exchange necessary information through dialogue, it is the journals that allow us to witness Artyom's internal soliloquy, his silent prayers, and his private recollections of what was lost. They give us pause, allowing us to reflect on themes of loss, redemption, and the relentless flicker of hope that refuses to be snuffed out, even in the deepest darkness. the contrast between the immediacy of direct dialogue and the contemplative nature of journal entries enriches the narrative texture of the Metro saga. It creates a rhythm, a delicate interplay between urgency and reflection. This rhythm is not just pleasing to the ear, it is designed to resonate on a deeper emotional level. For viewers and players alike, the journal entries evoke the haunting solitude of the Metro, where every whispered word is a testament to survival and every faded line a memorial to the past. Furthermore, the use of journals heightens the mystery of the story. Each entry is a fragment of a larger narrative, a piece of an intricate tapestry that is only slowly revealed over time. They hint at buried secrets, long-forgotten histories, and the ultimate fate of a people clinging to life in a subterranean world. Every page turn raises new questions that beg to be explored in subsequent chapters. What lies beneath these troubled passages? Could there be a hidden truth that only the silence of a journal can unveil? This constant air of inquiry not only propels the story forward, but also transforms the experience into one of shared discovery, where the player becomes an active participant in unraveling the complex legacy of the Metro. In conclusion, the dual, narrative techniques of journal entries and direct dialogue in the Metro saga underscore the profound impact of storytelling on our engagement with the game. The journals, with their lyrical cadence and intimate revelations, offer a depth of introspection and emotional resonance that direct dialogues rarely achieve. They invite us into the private world of Artyom, his doubts, his dreams, and his quiet moments of hope amid despair, and in doing so, they create a powerful, immersive experience. As we listen to these whispers in the dark, we are compelled to confront not only the eerie truths of a post-apocalyptic world, but also our own inner landscapes, where the struggle for survival and the pursuit of hope continue long after the lights have dimmed. In this interplay of silence and sound, isolation and connection, the Metro saga reveals its true strength. A narrative that is as hauntingly beautiful as it is brutally honest. It challenges us to look deeper, to understand the true cost of survival, and to ponder whether even in the shadow of humanity's darkest hour, a spark of light can still endure. And so, as you journey through these fragmented memories and intimate confessions, you are not merely a spectator. You are a co-traveler, witnessing the eternal struggle of a man and his world, echoing long after the final page is turned. A world of desolation and resilience. Life inside and outside the Metro. In a realm where the light of the sun is but a distant memory and the echoes of a once vibrant civilization fade into the darkness, the Metro stands as a monument to both desolation and survival. Picture endless claustrophobic corridors carved into the earth, stations that have long since lost their warmth, replaced by a cold, unyielding austerity. And above ground, a barren, irradiated wasteland that whispers tales of forgotten glory. This is the world in which humanity has found a precarious refuge, a world where the environment itself shapes the very essence of life. Within the confines of the Metro, survival is not just a daily struggle. It is a continuous battle against the overwhelming weight of despair. The underground stations, once bustling hubs of transit and life, now lie silent, their walls echoing the remnants of a time when hope was plentiful. The flickering lights cast long shadows on crumbling concrete, while the distant sound of dripping water and the hum of ventilation systems serve as the only testament to life in these subterranean ruins. Yet, in the midst of this overwhelming bleakness, there is a stubborn resilience. Every survivor etched into this story does so with a quiet defiance, a refusal to succumb to the darkness. Artyom's journal entries offer us a rare, intimate glimpse into the hearts and minds of those who live in this perpetual twilight. One entry reads, "Every step in the Metro is like walking on the edge of oblivion. Yet there is beauty in our struggle, a silent promise that the spark of hope endures even in the darkest hours." These words encapsulate the paradox of a society built on despair, yet fueled by an indomitable will to survive. The desolation around them is palpable, yet so is the relentless human spirit that refuses to be extinguished. Above ground, the landscape tells a similarly somber tale. The irradiated surface is a harsh reminder of the cataclysm that forced humanity underground. The once lush expanses are now tainted by a pervasive toxicity where nature itself struggles to reclaim its place. The sky is perpetually overcast, casting everything in a muted, ghostly light. Scorched earth and twisted vegetation form a landscape that is as alien as it is tragic. Here, every gust of wind carries with it the scent of decay, and every ray of sunlight is but a fleeting visitor in a world that has learned to fear the outside. Yet even in this devastated expanse, human life persists in unexpected ways. The survivors who dare to venture above ground do so with a quiet determination, their faces set in expressions that blend weariness with resolve. They scavenger for sustenance, forge fragile alliances, and cling to traditions that remind them of a lost world. How do they continue to hope, to live against all odds, one might wonder, as the inhabitants of both the metro and the irradiated surface navigate a daily existence fraught with danger and sorrow? Their resilience is not born solely of necessity. It is an act of defiance in the face of annihilation. In the dimly lit corridors of the metro, social bonds are both a shield and a source of vulnerability. The tight-knit communities that form within each station create a fragile network of support. Neighbors share the same limited resources, rely on each other for protection, and find solace in the rare moments of levity that punctuate their otherwise grim reality. Yet, these bonds are also strained under the relentless pressure of survival. Trust is a commodity as rare as untainted food, and every interaction is tinged with the knowledge that scarcity can breed conflict just as swiftly as it nurtures unity. Within these underground communities, the personal is inextricably linked with the communal. Diary entries reveal intimate reflections on loss and love, capturing the fleeting moments of connection that make life bearable even as the world around them collapses. One such entry confesses, "I watch as my neighbor cradles a faded photograph of her lost child. Her tears are not a sign of weakness, but the echo of a past too painful to forget." And yet, in that shared sorrow, there is an unspoken solidarity. We are bound together not just by our need to survive, but by our memories of what was and what might yet be. Such poignant insights remind us that even in the grip of utter devastation, the human heart finds a way to remember and to hope. The psychological impact of living in such an environment is profound. The constant exposure to decay and ruin seeps into the very fabric of one's identity. Survivors carry with them the scars of loss, not only as marks on their bodies, but as indelible imprints on their souls. Isolation, fear, and a deep-seated longing for the world that once was coalesced into a quiet battle fought every day within. And yet, amid the desolation, there are moments that spark a renewal of the spirit. A shared smile, a whispered promise of better days, or the simple act of tending to a fragile sprout of green in a reclaimed patch of the metro. Outside the stations, the harshness of the irradiated world further challenges the human psyche. The surface is a realm of stark contrasts, where the barrenness of the landscape is countered by sudden, almost surreal bursts of natural beauty. An ancient tree, gnarled and resilient, may stand against a backdrop of ruined buildings, a living testament to the possibility of regeneration. These natural anomalies evoke a sense of awe and a reminder that life, in its most tenacious form, always finds a way. This precarious balance between ruin and renewal mirrors the inner struggles of those who call this world home. Their lives are an ongoing test of endurance, a constant negotiation between despair and a will to live. Ultimately, the metro is more than just a post-apocalyptic refuge. It is a crucible that forges the human spirit. It is a world where every shattered corridor and irradiated stretch of land tells a story of loss, resilience, and the unyielding hope that defines us. The interplay between the unforgiving environment and the tenacious souls who inhabit it creates a narrative rich in contrasts, a testament to the idea that even in a world of utter desolation, life clings to the possibility of renewal. As we journey through these bleak yet strangely beautiful landscapes, we are left with lingering questions. How do these survivors find the strength to move forward when every step is a reminder of what has been lost? What hidden reserves of courage lie within them, enabling them to face an uncertain future with defiant optimism. And, perhaps most, haunting of all, in a world that seems determined to crush the spark of human life, what small acts of beauty or kindness emerge to light the way in the darkness? The environment of the metro, in all its brutal severity, becomes both a formidable adversary and a silent muse, inspiring its inhabitants to redefine the very essence of humanity. Their stories are etched into the walls of decaying stations, whispered along the winds that sweep the irradiated plains, and immortalized in the heartfelt confessions found within crumpled diary pages. It is in this intricate dance between desolation and resilience that the true spirit of the metro lives on, a spirit that challenges us all to ponder our own capacity for hope, even against the most overwhelming odds. Divided yet determined. The factions that rule the metro in. The vast, echoing corridors of the metro, power is not a single, unyielding force. It fractures into myriad ideologies, each vying to shape the remnants of civilization. Here, in the dark underbelly of a once great city, three distinct factions have risen from the chaos: Hansa, Red Line, and the Fourth Reich. Their emergence is not merely a story of territorial conquest, but a reflection of humanity's desperate need to cling to identity, order, and power in a world turned upside down. The genesis of division. Long before the dim lights of the metro illuminated its cold concrete halls, society itself had splintered into myriad fragments. In the wake of catastrophe, when the surface became inhospitable and survival demanded more than mere adaptation, factions formed as both shields and swords. The survivors needed structure. They needed leaders who could promise a new order. Out of the ashes of a shattered world, Hansa, Red Line, and the Fourth Reich emerged, each with their own doctrines, ambitions, and visions of what the future could be. Hansa, the faction born from commerce and trade, sought to recreate a semblance of the old world's thriving market economy. Founded by wealthy traders who banded together for mutual protection, they envisioned a free market where enterprise would lead to prosperity, a place where wealth could be the great equalizer. Their system is built on the delicate balance of supply and demand, where every transaction is a quiet rebellion against the despair that threatens to engulf them. Yet, beneath the glitter of commerce lies a ruthless pragmatism. For Hansa, success often depends on exploiting every opportunity, and sometimes, even the most benevolent ideas are sacrificed on the altar of profit. In stark contrast, the Red Line rose from the embers of Soviet ideology. Embracing strict discipline and centralized control, this faction represents the ghosts of a bygone era, a desperate attempt to recreate order in a chaotic world by returning to the collective principles of the old regime. Their structure is rigid, demanding absolute loyalty and conformity, with every member seen as a cog in a monumental machine designed to restore stability. But what happens when this cold, bureaucratic order oppresses the very individuals it claims to serve? The tension within the Red Line is palpable, as the promise of equality too often becomes a suffocating mandate that leaves little room for individual expression or dissent. Then there is the Fourth Reich, a faction that embodies an entirely different breed of extremism. With an ideology steeped in the nightmares of xenophobia and a warped sense of genetic purity, the Fourth Reich is a force driven by a dark vision of the future. Rejecting not only the failures of the old world, but all forms of compromise, they are a militant echo of history's most brutal regimes. Their ambitions are cloaked in a fervor that borders on fanaticism, where the concept of human worth is reduced to cold, calculating measurements. For the people of the metro, the Fourth Reich is not just an external enemy, it is a constant reminder of a past best left forgotten, a specter of hatred that lingers in every shadow. The dynamics of interaction as the metro's residents navigate. The narrow, flickering corridors of their subterranean world, they are caught in the perpetual struggle between these conflicting ideologies. The interactions between Hansa, Red Line, and the Fourth Reich are not the result of arbitrary choices. They are manifestations of deeper societal rifts, rifts that echo the raw fears, ambitions, and bitter regrets of humanity itself. Hansa's influence can be felt in every bustling trade and whispered negotiation that takes place under the dim glow of flickering lights. Their vast network of commerce is both a lifeline and a snare, providing essential goods while simultaneously fostering an environment of greed and exploitation. In the midst of this complex economic system, every citizen learns quickly that survival often depends on making deals with the devil, or in this case, with those who value money above all else. The very act of trading, the simple exchange of goods, becomes a delicate dance of trust and treachery as alliances are formed, only to be broken in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, the Red Line looms over the metro like a cold specter of enforced order. Its leaders preach unity and discipline, promising that strict adherence to their rules is the only path to collective survival. For many, the Red Line represents hope, a beacon of structure amidst the surrounding anarchy. And yet, the heavy hand of centralized power can crush the spirit just as easily as it fortifies it. The citizens under its control often find themselves questioning whether the true enemy is the chaos outside or the suffocating control imposed from within. The Red Line, in its pursuit of equality, sometimes enforces a conformity that ignores the inherent diversity of human experience. The Fourth Reich, with its brutal, uncompromising vision, is perhaps the most overt antagonist in this subterranean saga. Its members view the world in stark binary terms, those who are pure and those who are not. Their ideology feeds on the deepest fears of the metro's inhabitants, a fear that is both primal and all-consuming. When these ideas take root, they can transform neighbor against neighbor, turning what should be a struggle for survival into a battle for dominance over identity itself. Their regime is a relentless force, one that imposes its extremist views with a ruthless efficiency that leaves little room for compassion or compromise. Reflections on the inherent paradoxes. Amid these competing forces, a profound question arises. Are these factions the true enemy, or are they merely reflections of humanity's deepest fears and aspirations? Each faction, in its own way, is a mirror held up to a fragmented society, revealing both its strengths and its flaws. Hansa, for all its economic prowess, exposes the darker side of capitalism: greed, exploitation, and a relentless pursuit of profit at any cost. The Red Line, with its promise of unity, often reveals the cost of sacrificing individual freedoms on the altar of collective security. And the Fourth Reich, a grim embodiment of totalitarian extremism, forces us to confront the terrifying potential of prejudice when it is allowed to fester unchecked. It is within these paradoxes that the true tragedy, and perhaps the last vestiges, of hope reside. The factions may appear to be enemies in a literal sense, warring for control of resources and influence. Yet, on a more profound level, they are symptomatic of a shattered world desperately trying to piece itself back together. Their conflicts are not simply about territory. They are battles fought in the shadows of humanity's collective psyche, where every ideological clash is a struggle against the chaos that once tore the world apart. One cannot help but wonder, in their rigid pursuit of order, are these factions unwittingly perpetuating the same cycle of destruction that led to their formation? Does the tyranny of one faction fuel the insurgence of another? And in the end, is the true enemy the ideological divide itself, a manifestation of humanity's fear of the unknown, the alien, and the uncontrollable? The very existence of these factions raises questions that have no easy answers, a reflection of the complexities and contradictions inherent in human nature. As we delve deeper into the labyrinthine politics of the Metro, it becomes increasingly clear that the factions are not simply monolithic forces of oppression or salvation. Rather, they are dynamic, multifaceted entities that embody the hopes, dreams, and nightmares of those who inhabit this underground world. Their interactions, fraught with tension and unpredictability, serve as a constant reminder that in the struggle for survival, every power structure is both a savior and a potential destroyer. Ultimately, the Metro's factions challenge us to question what true power means in a world that has been reduced to its barest elements. In the relentless struggle for control, can there ever be a balance between order and freedom? Or will the factions' own internal contradictions lead to a cycle of conflict from which there is no escape? These questions are the lifeblood of the Metro universe, a universe where division is inevitable, yet the human spirit remains determined to forge meaning even in the midst of desolation. In this harsh subterranean reality, the factions serve, not only as the pillars of social order, but also as symbols of the enduring human struggle. They remind us that even in a world overrun by darkness, there persists a spark of hope. A hope that despite the divisions and betrayals, humanity will find a way to rise above its own shadow. As the Metro continues to evolve, its power structures will undoubtedly shift, but the battle for control and for the soul of its people will remain a constant, echoing a timeless truth about survival in the face of overwhelming adversity. Above and beyond, the bold leap into the surface. In the silent aftermath of decades spent navigating the claustrophobic corridors of the underground, a new chapter unfolds in Metro Exodus. A daring escape from the suffocating darkness to a realm where the air, though heavy with the scars of radiation and loss, heralds a promise of unbridled freedom. As Artyom steps above the surface for the first time, every breath taken in the open sky tells a story of resilience and defiance against the encroaching decay of a world once vibrant, now fractured by catastrophe. The transformation in Metro Exodus is nothing short of cinematic. Picture this. After years of being bound to the underground's labyrinthine tunnels, where the relentless gloom and the oppressive hum of machinery acted as a constant reminder of humanity's confinement, our weary protagonist finds himself thrust into a landscape bathed in the raw, unfiltered light of the sun. This sudden burst of brightness is both dazzling and unsettling. It is a world where every ray of light cuts through the haze of desolation, painting the remnants of destruction with strokes of brilliant color and paradoxical hope. Artyom's first steps on the surface are laced with trepidation and wonder. The world he once knew had been reduced to a series of narrow, suffocating passages. Now, a vast, open expanse stretches out before him, a canvas of possibilities. The dirt beneath his boots, the rustling of the wind through mutated foliage, and the distant echoes of life form a symphony that is as ancient as it is defiant. There is a palpable contrast here. The underground is a place of enforced survival, where every decision is dictated by the need to withstand relentless threats. Above ground, however, there is a risky kind of freedom, a freedom that is both intoxicating and dangerous. In this new world, the surface is not the idyllic paradise one might imagine. Instead, it is a landscape scarred by the aftermath of nuclear devastation and ecological upheaval. The once fertile soils now lie tainted with radiation, and the remnants of civilization are intermingled with wild, almost surreal beauty. Crumbling buildings, overgrown with resilient flora, stand as silent monuments to a bygone era. The horizon is punctuated by the silhouettes of decaying structures and the distant outlines of hills, remnants of nature's stubborn persistence. Every scene is a visual paradox. Stark contrast exists between decay and regeneration, tragedy, and the faint glimmer of revival. This dramatic shift in setting is designed to pull the viewer into a visceral experience. The oppressive, suffocating weight of the underground is replaced with an overwhelming sense of openness, yet it is an openness that does not guarantee salvation. The surface offers no easy answers. One cannot simply step into the sunlight without confronting the inherent perils that lie in wait. Mutated creatures, long adapted to the underground's shadowy existence, have now found a tenuous foothold in the open world. What does freedom taste like when it is tainted with radiation and loss? It is a question that hovers in the still air, compelling Artyom, and the audience, to reckon with the reality that the price of liberty may be steep indeed. As Artyom embarks on this perilous journey, every step is imbued with both awe and anxiety. The cinematic grandeur of the open world is contrasted by the constant danger of the unknown. His senses are heightened, the crunch of gravel underfoot, the distant call of birds, or are they something else entirely? And the murmur of the wind create a soundscape that is at once haunting and beautiful. This is a world that demands respect, a world where every hidden crevice and every burst of sunlight could conceal a lurking threat. Amid the stark beauty of the surface, Artyom's inner dialogue reveals a turbulent mix of hope and resignation. There is a powerful, almost poetic melancholy in the realization that the world above, for all its dazzling openness, remains irrevocably broken. His journey is as much an internal struggle as it is a physical passage from one realm to another. Each new vista he encounters forces him, and us, to confront the duality of human existence, the relentless desire to reach for the light even as we are haunted by the specters of our past. In one moment, he is captivated by the sight of a sunrise that bathes a ruined city in hues of gold and crimson. In the next, his heart sinks at the sight of a lone, withered tree fighting desperately for life on a barren hillside. This internal conflict is mirrored in the external environment. The surface world is not a monolithic landscape. It is a living, breathing testament to both the resilience and the fragility of life. Here, the dilapidated remnants of society are juxtaposed with signs of new growth, a solitary flower pushing its way through cracked concrete, or the eerie luminosity of phosphorescent fungi illuminating a dark cavern. Each of these images serves as a powerful metaphor for survival against all odds, a reminder that even in the depths of despair, a spark of hope endures. The narrative pace in Metro Exodus, as Artyom moves from the security of the underground into the vast uncertainty of the surface, is masterfully balanced with moments of intense action and quiet introspection. There are scenes where the tension is nearly unbearable, a sudden ambush by mutated beasts, the reverberation of Artyom's heartbeat echoing in the vast emptiness. Yet, there are also moments of tender reflection, when he pauses to consider the remnants of the world he has lost and the possibility of something new emerging from the ruins. The leap into the surface is not merely a change in scenery, but a bold reimagining of what survival can mean. No longer is it enough to simply stay alive. Now, every moment is a defiant assertion of life itself, a challenge to the darkness that seeks to claim the world. This metamorphosis is captured in breathtaking detail as the camera sweeps across panoramic views of a scarred yet majestic landscape, drawing the viewer into a sensory experience that is both overwhelming and deeply moving. What makes Metro Exodus truly revolutionary is its ability to elicit a spectrum of emotions, from the exhilarating thrill of breaking free to the bittersweet recognition of what has been irrevocably lost. It invites us to ask, is it possible to truly reclaim freedom when the scars of the past are etched into every stone and every breath of air? Can hope be kindled in a wasteland where nature and human ingenuity collide, creating both beauty and devastation in their wake? As the journey unfolds, the stark reality of the surface becomes a battleground for hope and despair. Artyom's struggle is not simply one of physical survival. It is an existential quest to find meaning in a world that has been forever altered. In this landscape of light and shadow, where every step forward is fraught with peril and possibility, the viewer is left to ponder the profound questions at the heart of Metro Exodus. What does it mean to be truly free? And can a shattered world ever find its way back to the warmth of the sun? In these opening moments on the surface, as Artyom tentatively embraces the chaos of his new reality, we witness not only the birth of a new chapter in his journey, but also the rekindling of a fragile dream. A dream that, despite the looming threats of radiation, mutants, and the pervasive echo of past tragedies, insists on the possibility of redemption and renewal. The journey above ground is as much a literal escape from confinement as it is a metaphor for the human spirit's indomitable will to rise, even when the light is harsh and the cost of freedom is steep. This daring leap into the unknown is what makes Metro Exodus a landmark in the Metro series, a narrative and visual masterpiece that dares its characters and its audience to step beyond the safety of darkness and into a world where hope and danger walk hand in hand. It is a journey that challenges us to look beyond the immediate horror of a broken world and to seek out the quiet, persistent beauty that lies hidden in every shattered remnant of the past. Hearts in the Dark, the power of hope in a broken world. In the shattered remains of a once familiar world, where every shadow whispers stories of loss and every echo from the underground carries the weight of bygone eras, there lies an emotional core that transcends the desolation, a core that beats with hope, despair, and ultimately, redemption. In Metro Exodus, the journey of Artyom is not merely a physical escape from the claustrophobic underworld, but an odyssey of the heart. It is a journey defined by the tender connections he forms with family, friends, and comrades, a fragile lifeline in a realm that seems intent on erasing humanity itself. Artyom's diary entries, penned in moments of rare solitude amidst the chaos, speak volumes of his inner turmoil and resilient spirit. One such entry reads, "Even as darkness encroaches and the ghosts of the past roam these abandoned corridors, I cling to the hope that somewhere, somehow, life's remnants still beat with the pulse of love and longing." In these words, we hear the echo of a man who has witnessed unfathomable loss, yet dares to dream of a future where light might once again break through the overwhelming gloom. The bonds Artyom nurtures are his most potent weapons against the encroaching despair. His relationship with his closest comrades and the fleeting but powerful warmth of familial love are portrayed through both quiet moments and heart-wrenching farewells. There is the tender memory of his stepfather, Alex, whose gentle admonitions and unwavering support helped shape the man Artyom is today. In a brief yet resonant conversation, Alex once said, "Son, even the darkest night yields to the dawn. It's the hope that we carry within that will one day lead us out of the abyss." This simple yet profound reassurance became a beacon for Artyom, a guiding light in a labyrinth of despair. Yet, not every memory is steeped in solace. The pervasive undercurrent of loss and the haunting reminders of a world irretrievably altered permeate every step of Artyom's journey. The recollections of those he has lost, friends who fell in battle, family members whose voices have long since faded, imbue his heart with a sorrow that is as deep as it is inexplicable. A shattered fragment of a conversation, overheard in the quiet confines of the metro, still reverberates in his mind. We fought not just for survival, but to preserve a memory of what it means to be human. Such moments serve as a stark reminder that every victory comes at a price, and every beacon of hope is balanced by the weight of despair. The emotional tapestry woven throughout Metro Exodus is enriched by the vivid and poignant dialogue exchanged between characters. In hushed voices amid the lingering echo of distant gunfire and the soft hum of the underground, Artyom and his comrades share their dreams and doubts. One memorable exchange finds him confiding in a fellow ranger. "Sometimes I wonder if our struggle is in vain. Yet even when the world around us crumbles, I see in your eyes that spark of defiance, a silent promise that we will endure." These words, laden with both vulnerability and determination, encapsulate the essence of their collective resistance. They are not just surviving, they are fighting for the very idea of hope in a place that seems determined to extinguish it. The heart of this turbulent emotional landscape is a recurring motif, redemptive hope. Despite the relentless barrage of chaos and the ceaseless threat of mutant creatures lurking in the periphery of every encounter, there is a persistent call to rise again. It is a call that reverberates not only in Artyom's somber journal entries, but also in the quiet, determined glances shared between him and his surviving kin. In one particularly moving journal passage, he reflects, "In the midst of ceaseless darkness, the tiniest ember can ignite a wildfire of hope. My heart may be heavy with sorrow, but it is not yet ready to surrender." This sentiment is not born from naive optimism, but from the hard-won understanding that in the heart of despair, there exists an indomitable will, a will to transform pain into purpose, to forge meaning from the ruins of the old world. Taki, emotional core of Metro Exodus, is also vividly brought to life through its environmental storytelling. As Artyom traverses desolate landscapes and crumbling metro stations, every abandoned relic and every faded inscription on a wall becomes a silent testament to lives once lived, a mosaic of laughter, love, and irrevocable loss. In one quiet moment, while sheltering from a harsh downpour in an abandoned station, he finds solace in the faded scribbles on a wall that read, "Remember, we loved deeply and lost everything, but in our hearts, we remain eternal." Such Inscriptions serve as collective memoirs of a humanity that refused to be completely erased, even as the world around them disintegrated into decay. The interplay between hope and despair is poignantly underscored in the intimate conversations between Artyom and those he encounters. There is a sense of shared burden, the knowledge that every member of his makeshift family, every weary soul, residing within the metro, bears the scars of past tragedies. Yet it is precisely these shared experiences that forge an unbreakable bond between them. Whether it is a shared smile in the midst of adversity or a tear silently shed in the gloom, these moments capture the paradox of the human spirit. Even when suffocated by grief, it finds the strength to dream of a brighter tomorrow. Perhaps the most stirring reflection comes from one of Artyom's final journal entries in Metro Exodus, where he writes, "This journey is far from over. Every scar tells a story, every tear births a hope, and in the darkness we find our true selves. It is in our shared pain that we discover the unyielding strength of our humanity." These words resonate with an almost timeless quality, reminder that even in a world that seems destined for oblivion, the light of human resilience endures. Metro Exodus stands as a profound meditation on life in the aftermath of catastrophe, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who refuse to let go of hope, even when the darkness seems all-consuming. It challenges us to reflect on our own lives, on the moments of joy intermingled with sorrow, and on the sacrifices we make in pursuit of a future brighter than the past. The emotional journey of Artyom and his comrades is a powerful narrative of survival, not just of body, but of soul. It compels us to ask ourselves, what does it truly mean to be alive? How does one find hope in the most desolate of places? In the echoing corridors of the metro, where every step is a battle against the encroaching shadows, the power of hope emerges as the single most compelling force. It is the force that drives Artyom forward, that propels each character to cling to the fragile promise of redemption. And it is the force that makes Metro Exodus not merely a game, but an enduring saga, a story of life, loss, and ultimately, the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of worlds, there can be found a spark that ignites the flame of renewal. In these hushed moments of introspection and shared resilience, the Metro saga transforms into a mirror reflecting our own desires, our own fears, and our own capacity for redemption. It is here, in the interplay of hope and despair, that the story of Metro finds its true heart, a heart that beats for every soul that dares to dream, even when the world around them is shrouded in darkness.
Beyond the main story, hidden gems and untold tales. In every legendary saga lies a trove of secrets, stories that dwell in the quiet corners, narratives that extend beyond the central plot, whispering of lives, losses, and the echoes of past
and future conflicts. In the Metro universe, these hidden gems are found within the DLCs and side missions that accompany the main titles of Metro Last Light and Metro Exodus. They offer more than mere gameplay. They are windows into the soul of a world where even the smallest fragment of untold tale carries the weight of legacy and longing. These additional experiences are crafted with the same meticulous attention to atmospheric detail as the core games. Each DLC is a story within itself, an intricate tapestry of narratives that weave together the collective memories of the Metro's inhabitants. They not only expand the universe, but also supplement the overarching plot with subtle hints, undiscovered lore, and character vignettes that deepen our understanding of what it means to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. The DLCs, ranging from short standalone missions to extended chapters, serve as both a bridge and a magnifying glass. They bridge the gap between the desperate, claustrophobic corridors of the metro and the unpredictable expanse of the surface, while the minutiae they reveal function as a magnifying glass, offering us a closer look at the personal struggles and isolated victories within the broader narrative. For example, a particular DLC might focus on the remnants of a once thriving community at a forgotten station, a microcosm of hope and heartbreak that mirrors the metro itself. Each encounter, whether it's a desperate rescue, a covert expedition, or a moment of introspection by the flickering light of a dying fire, is imbued with cinematic tension and emotional gravitas. Imagine for a moment slipping away from the main storyline to explore a side mission where you are given the opportunity to meet a reclusive character, a former guard whose life was turned upside down by the collapse of the surface world. His journal, laden with cryptic notations and faded memories, hints at a secret alliance between factions that might explain the sudden shifts in power within the Metro. His story, though brief, leaves you with a resonant question. What hidden truths lie buried beneath the rubble of forgotten battles? This is the magic of the DLCs. They captivate the imagination by suggesting that the Metro is not a closed system, but a living, breathing archive of human endurance and mystery. Beyond individual character stories, some DLCs plunge you into missions, where the environment itself becomes an active storyteller. Consider a covert operation in a derelict train station, where every flickering light, every echo in the cavernous hall seems to murmur stories of those who came before. In these missions, you are invited to piece together fragments of lore scattered in abandoned notes, personal mementos, and dialogues that hint at a world where hope once flourished despite overwhelming desolation. The interplay between shadow and light in these scenarios creates a palpable tension that is both eerie and compelling. You can almost hear the whispered secrets of survivors, echoing off metal walls and lost among the corridors of time. Another fascinating element lies in the way these DLCs enrich the Metro universe by expanding the mythos surrounding its factions. While the main story provides a broad brushstroke of conflict between the dominant forces, the Hansa, Red Line, and the Fourth Reich, DLC missions often delve into the nuanced, almost poetic struggles that define the human condition in this dark, new world. In one particularly evocative side mission, you might witness a small band of survivors negotiating a fragile truce with a rival group. Their dialogue, laden with both bitterness and cautious optimism, serves as a microcosm of the larger ideological battles waged within the Metro. It invites you to ponder, are these factions truly the enemy, or are they manifestations of humanity's deepest, most primal fears? This narrative depth is only further enhanced by the subtle, cinematic touches present in every extended mission. The sound design, crackling static, low murmurs of conversation, and the distant clamor of conflict creates an immersive audio landscape that draws you deeper into the mysteries of the Metro. As you progress through these DLCs, the gameplay itself transforms from a series of isolated challenges into an interconnected exploration of a world teeming with history. Every mission you undertake is punctuated by moments of reflective solitude, where you are compelled to consider the true cost of survival in a society perpetually on the brink of annihilation. What makes these extended narratives so compelling is their delicate balance between exposition and ambiguity. The DLCs are designed to leave you with more questions than answers, a deliberate choice that mirrors the uncertain, unpredictable nature of the Metro world. They reveal tantalizing glimpses of long-forgotten histories and long-lost alliances, only to retreat into silence before divulging their full implications. As you complete each mission, you are left with a lingering sense of wonder and an insatiable curiosity. What unseen forces shape this underground realm? What sacrifices have been made so that life, however fractured, can still persist? Moreover, these additional chapters serve as both a homage to the fans' relentless pursuit of Metro's lore and a bridge to future stories. They encapsulate the relentless spirit of the human will, a testament to how even in the deepest, darkest times, the flame of hope can burn brightly. Each DLC is not simply an add-on. It is a critical piece of the Metro puzzle, reflecting the intricate interplay of despair and hope, survival and loss, that has defined the series since its inception. They remind us that within the bleak narrative of post-apocalyptic survival, there lies an enduring celebration of life, an ode to the resilience of the human spirit. In this way, the DLCs and side missions are not just supplementary content, they are the quiet heartbeats of the Metro saga. They are the stories whispered. In the dark, the tender moments captured between the blasts of chaos. They beckon players to look beyond the immediate struggle for survival and see the true, unspoken beauty in the persistence of life itself. Ultimately, these hidden gems leave us to wonder about the mysteries yet untold, about the secrets that still lie hidden beneath the layers of rubble and time, waiting for someone brave enough to seek them out. So as you delve into these additional experiences, remember, every question unasked, every secret half revealed, is an invitation to explore deeper, to reflect on what it means to live, to love, and to persevere in a world where nothing is ever quite as it seems. The untold tales of the Metro universe are there, waiting to be discovered. A reminder that sometimes the most profound stories are found not in the grand narrative, but in the quiet moments that lie in between. The weight of choices, morality in a desolate world. In a realm where every decision can tip the balance between hope and despair, the Metro series has crafted a moral system that resonates with the raw, unyielding nature of its post-apocalyptic world. Within this dark, claustrophobic universe, player choices are never trivial. They echo through the crumbling tunnels and battered stations, affecting not only the fate of the characters, but also the collective soul of humanity struggling to survive underground. Here, every action, every fleeting decision is imbued with consequence, creating a labyrinth of ethical dilemmas that invite deep personal reflection. From the moment you step into the shoes of Artyom, the weight of responsibility is palpable. His journals, laden with terse reflections and poignant admissions, serve as both a chronicle of his internal battle and a mirror reflecting the shattered world around him. One journal entry reads, "I feel the burden of every life lost. Each decision cuts deeper than the last. How can one man bear so much guilt in a world that has forgotten how to hope?" Such words are not mere narrative devices. They are intimate confessions that draw us into the core of a morality system designed to challenge our own ethical boundaries. The moral system in Metro is meticulously interwoven into its narrative structure. Unlike traditional games where choices might influence minor plot branches, here they affect the overarching outcome of the story. Every moral decision, whether it is sparing an enemy, taking a risk to save a companion, or even choosing to remain silent in critical moments, accumulates like weights that the player must carry long after the mission is over. This relentless accumulation forces us to question. In a desolate world where the remnants of society cling to survival, how much are we willing to sacrifice for the sake of compassion? And is the cost of our choices measured solely by survival? Or does it penetrate deeper into the heart of what it means to be human? Artyom's diaries are rich with evocative passages that reveal his inner turmoil. In one particularly powerful excerpt, he writes, "Each loss is a scar on my soul, every act of kindness a fleeting light in an endless night. I wonder if the darkness that envelops us is a punishment for our sins, or the very consequence of our own failure to find a reason to live." This reflection is not only a testament to the character's personal grief, but also invites players to reflect on their own moral compass. In a world where every choice could mean the difference between life and an untimely end, Artyom's contemplations underscore a critical truth. Morality is not a luxury in such times. It is the fabric that binds the remnants of hope together. The game challenges us to consider the duality of human nature. On one hand, there is the instinct for survival, cold and unyielding. On the other, there is the spark of empathy and the desire to cling to remnants of dignity despite the ravages of an unforgiving apocalypse. As you progress through the desolate corridors of the Metro, you are forced to navigate not only physical dangers, but also ethical quagmires. Are we, in our struggle for survival, becoming the very monsters we fear? Becomes a recurring question in the silent pauses between battle and brief interludes of reflective solitude. This narrative tension is heightened by the interplay of environmental storytelling and the intimate confessions found in Artyom's personal logs. The ruined stations, echoing with the whispers of lost souls, serve as both a backdrop and a catalyst for introspection. In moments when the light seems to flicker out entirely, Artyom's quiet, almost resigned voice from his journal entries reminds us that even in the depths of despair, a spark of humanity endures. His words, "In the darkness, a single act of mercy can outshine a legion of cruelty," are not just poetic musings. They are a call to confront the paradox of our existence in a world where every decision molds our destiny. Furthermore, the moral system is not static. It adapts to the player's journey, reflecting the evolution of Artyom's character as he grapples with the responsibility of his actions. At the beginning, his decisions feel tentative, uncertain. Yet as the narrative unfolds, so too does his inner strength. The choices made early in his journey accumulate over time, manifesting in different endings that range from bleak resignation to a bittersweet hope. This dynamic encourages players to revisit and reevaluate their choices. Each playthrough becomes a meditation on the nature of guilt, redemption, and the sometimes unbearable burden of having to decide who lives and who perishes. In one memorable moment, Artyom reflects, "I have grown numb to the echoes of my own deeds. But tonight, as I stand alone, I hear the voices of those I could not save. And for the first time in what feels like an eternity, I vow to change." This turning point is both heartbreaking and inspirational. It epitomizes the struggle between accepting the inevitability of loss and the defiant yearning for a future where compassion might tip the scales. The strength of the moral system in Metro lies in these nuanced revelations, small, intimate moments that offer players a glimpse into the profound impact of their choices. The narrative strategy employed in conveying the moral weight in Metro is cinematic in its execution. There are moments when the silence between actions is as potent as the most dramatic confrontations. The dim light of a flickering lamp, the echo of distant footsteps, and the oppressive weight of a decaying world become instruments of a score that plays on the heartstrings of every player. The juxtaposition of these quiet, tender moments against the brutal reality of mutant attacks and relentless wastelands creates an auditory and visual rhythm that is almost hypnotic. It compels us to look deeper into our own understanding of what is right and what is necessary. As viewers immerse themselves in this melancholic reflection, they are prompted to ponder a crucial question. In the face of such moral ambiguity, can there truly be redemption? The Metro series suggests that redemption is not a clear-cut destination, but rather a fleeting, fragile state, one that must be fought for, moment by moment, with every choice. This layered understanding of morality adds a richness to the narrative, one that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever faced a moral dilemma, no matter how small. Ultimately, the moral system in Metro is more than just a gameplay mechanic. It is the emotional backbone of the entire series. It forces players to confront their innermost beliefs, to question the meaning of sacrifice and whether survival comes at the cost of one's soul. As you journey through the dark, echoing passages of the Metro, the choices you make shape not just the outcome of the game, but also your own inner reflections on the nature of humanity in a shattered world. In a universe where every action has the potential to either preserve a flicker of hope or deepen the shadows of despair, the weight of moral choices is immense. And it is precisely this weight that invites us to not only play the game, but to live its story, emotionally, ethically, and profoundly. As Artyom's diary entries remind us time and again, even in the bleakest moments, there remains a spark of light, a chance for redemption, and the eternal possibility of finding hope in a broken world. Legacy of the Metro, a story that lives on. In the silent corridors of the underground, where the distant echoes of desperate souls blend with the ceaseless drip of water and the hum of ancient machinery, lies a story that has indelibly changed the lives of its players. The Metro series isn't merely a collection of post-apocalyptic video games. It is a profound odyssey, a tale of survival, loss, and ultimately, hope. For many, including myself, Metro has become more than a narrative experience. It is a personal pilgrimage that challenges our innermost fears and inspires us to seek light even in the darkest depths. I still remember the very first time I stepped into the bleak, unforgiving world of Metro 2033. As I navigated the dimly lit tunnels beneath Moscow, each creaking floorboard and flickering light told a story of a society that had crumbled under the weight of its own despair. In those moments, the game reached out and touched something deep within me, a mix of melancholia and an unexpected spark of optimism. It wasn't just the peril of mutant creatures or the oppressive atmosphere that held me captive. It was the raw humanity of a world that had been forced to rebuild itself from the ruins of its former glory. How could something so grim still carry a promise of redemption? Every time I loaded a saved game, I was reminded that I was not simply playing a game, I was entering a living, breathing universe where every decision, every step had consequences far beyond the screen. Metro taught me that survival was not only a physical challenge, but also an emotional one, a relentless struggle against isolation and despair, where every faint glimmer of hope was a victory in its own right. I found myself relating to Artyom's silent determination as he pushed deeper into the underground, questioning not only the events that led to the apocalypse, but also the nature of my own existence. His journey resonated with me, echoing my own battles against the obstacles in life and reminding me that even in the harshest circumstances, the human spirit can endure. The impact of Metro on its fans is as enduring as the labyrinthine tunnels it portrays. It is a series that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our vulnerability and resilience. Each character we meet, every whispered secret found in a forgotten journal, speaks to the universal struggle for meaning in a world that seems indifferent to our suffering. There is a beauty in the way Metro lays bare these raw, unfiltered emotions, a narrative that does not shy away from the pain of loss, yet still nurtures the faint hope of rebirth. I recall a particular moment when I was alone in a desolate station, the only light emanating from a malfunctioning neon sign. I paused as I read one of Artyom's journal entries aloud. His words, soaked in sorrow and defiance, felt as if they were speaking directly to my own soul. He wrote, "Even as the darkness threatens to consume every last fragment of hope, I cling to that fragile light, for it is the only reminder that life, in all its fleeting beauty, is worth fighting for." In that instant, I understood that Metro is not just about surviving the apocalypse, it is about preserving our humanity in the face of overwhelming odds. It is about finding grace in the chaos and strength in our shared vulnerabilities. For many fans, Metro has been a mirror reflecting personal experiences, a catalyst for introspection, and a sanctuary where the trials of everyday life are momentarily set aside for a deeper exploration of purpose. In the game's oppressive ambiance, the clamor of distant gunfire, the haunting refrain of a lone whistle in the dark corridors, and the painstakingly detailed environments all converge to create an atmosphere that is both terrifying and oddly comforting. It's a place where the burdens we carry in the real world can be momentarily transmuted into the epic struggles of a post-apocalyptic hero. When I emerged from the tunnels after a long play session, I felt a profound sense of catharsis, a reminder that even in the darkest times we possess the capacity to endure, to overcome, and to rebuild. Metro's enduring appeal lies in its ability to weave a narrative tapestry that is as personal as it is epic. It has sparked countless discussions, online debates, and fan theories about the true nature of the world beneath Moscow, the origins of the mutant scourge, and the destiny of those who inhabit its remains. Through every replay, I discover new layers of meaning hidden within its environmental storytelling, subtle dialogues, and the unspoken language of its characters' expressions. These moments of discovery are not just isolated instances of gaming brilliance. They are revelations that have changed the way I perceive adversity and struggle in my own life. Beyond the technical mastery and immersive gameplay, Metro has imparted a lasting legacy through the strength of its storytelling. It has been a constant reminder that even when society crumbles and the world seems shrouded in perpetual darkness, there exists an undeniable spark of resilience, a flicker of defiance that refuses to be extinguished. For every fan who has ever felt the crushing weight of isolation, who has ever struggled to find meaning in a chaotic world, Metro stands as both an inspiration and a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. As I reflect on the journey that Metro has taken me on, one that spans the desolation of the underground to the promise of a new beginning, I am filled with a deep sense of gratitude. It is more than just a series of games. It is a chronicle of human tenacity, a record of our eternal quest for hope, even when everything seems lost. And as the Metro community continues to grow, the impact of this series lives on, inspiring countless players to not only survive, but to find beauty and purpose in the ruins of a broken world. The legacy of Metro is woven into our collective memories, a story that lives on in every whispered recollection of its trials and triumphs. It reminds us that no matter how dark the journey may be, there is always a glimmer of light waiting to guide us home. And perhaps, in that quiet, resolute hope, lies the true power of the Metro saga, a beacon that calls to every wanderer, every soul, yearning for redemption amidst the shadows. Metro Awakening, stepping into VR and rediscovering immersion. Imagine donning a headset and suddenly finding yourself not merely a spectator, but a living participant in a world that once existed only in your favorite post-apocalyptic saga. Metro Awakening launches you into a groundbreaking virtual reality experience where the dim corridors of the Moscow metro and the bleak, irradiated wasteland above ground come alive around you. In this revolutionary chapter of the Metro series, every sound, every shadow, and every heartbeat is rendered with such vivid detail that you begin to wonder if the boundary between the digital world and your own reality has finally blurred. In Nisa, a bold departure from traditional gameplay, Metro Awakening retains the core mechanics that have defined the series for years: tense survival, intricate storytelling, and an atmosphere heavy with isolation and lingering dread. Yet, it propels these elements into a new dimension by integrating the tactile interactivity of VR. Now, instead of merely controlling Artyom through a screen, you experience his journey firsthand. The tactile sensation of reaching out to pull a lever, the subtle vibration in your controller as you dodge mutant ambushes, and even the way light plays across your vision when you peer down a long, shadowy tunnel all contribute to an unparalleled immersion. The transformation begins the moment you step into the virtual ruins. Unlike the passive engagement of conventional gaming setups, Metro Awakening forces you to physically embody your character's actions. The act of scavenging becomes a visceral experience where you can actually lean forward, bend down, and sift through debris. The interactivity is not just an upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift. With VR, every movement matters. When you cautiously approach a creaking walkway or brace yourself against a sudden mutant attack, the physicality of your actions intensifies the stakes, deepening the narrative in ways traditional methods simply cannot match. What sets this VR experience apart is its ability to translate the haunting beauty and oppressive despair of Metro's universe into a multi-sensory journey. In Metro Awakening, the sound design is meticulous. The distant echo of dripping water, the creak of rusted metal, the soft murmur of voices hidden in the darkness. All these elements entwine with the ambient music to create an auditory landscape that draws you deeper into the game's eerie world. Every step in the virtual metro is accompanied by a subtle yet tangible vibration, as if the very foundation of this underground network is alive and pulsating with remnants of a civilization long decimated. Yet, despite these technological marvels, Metro Awakening remains faithful to the soul of the series. The narrative, steeped in despair, survival, and reluctant hope, continues to drive the experience. The VR adaptation does not dilute the storied ambiance of the Metro universe. Rather, it elevates it. As you navigate through the labyrinthine tunnels, you are continuously reminded of the story that has captivated millions. A tale of humanity struggling to cling to its remnants in a world wrought with peril and pain. You can almost feel Artyom's isolation, his internal conflicts, and his unwavering will to survive, as if every heartbeat inside your headset syncs with his pulse. Curiosity is a constant companion in Metro Awakening. What secrets lie hidden in those oppressive corridors? How do the remnants of society, desperate for salvation, cope in a world abandoned by the surface? These are not just abstract questions, but intimate puzzles woven into the fabric of the gameplay. Every environmental detail, from the flickering neon signs in a deserted station to the radioactive glow of hazardous materials scattered across the desolation, serves to challenge your perceptions and spark your imagination. The immersive environment invites you to explore and ponder. What if every shadow conceals a new threat? What if the whispers of the past that linger in the dark could somehow guide you toward a forgotten hope? The first-hand VR experiences are designed to be not only interactive but also deeply personal. You're not simply watching cinematic cutscenes, you're living them. When you see a distant figure vanish into the darkness, When you feel the slight rush of air as a mutant creature swiftly passes by, you are embedded in that moment. The game blurs the line between observer and participant, making you an integral part of the unfolding drama. As you maneuver through the tunnels, your own natural reactions, your instinct to flinch at the sudden appearance of danger or to lean in closer to decipher a half-heard conversation, enhance the emotional weight of each encounter, transforming the act of playing into a cathartic journey of self-discovery and reflection. In traditional gameplay, narrative-driven moments are often consumed passively as the storyline unfolds through pre-rendered scenes or scripted dialogues. Metro Awakening, however, leverages VR to shift these moments into the realm of active experience. Imagine the quiet intensity as you hold your breath, your eyes scanning the darkness for the next clue in the decrepit station. Every journal entry you uncover, every whispered conversation recorded on an old, grainy audio log becomes a direct link to the lost souls of the Metro. The game's interactivity compels you to not only witness, but to engage with these fragments of history, piecing together the shattered remnants of a once vibrant society through your own actions and choices. The VR experience also redefines how narrative pacing affects player engagement. The long, contemplative moments when you stand in a quiet station, listening to the soft hum of residual machinery or the faint echoes of a bygone era, are not interruptions, but integral parts of the story. They provide space for introspection, allowing the weight of the narrative to sink in. It's in these moments of stillness, where the only sound is your own beating heart, that you truly grasp the magnitude of Metro's desolation and the fragility of hope in a ravaged world. Furthermore, Metro Awakening opens the door to myriad possibilities that were previously confined to imagination. The prospect of physically stepping into an environment that has been meticulously designed to reflect the decay and resilience of the Metro universe is itself a tantalizing promise. What new details will you notice when you can actually look around you unencumbered by a flat screen? How will the interplay of light and shadow, amplified by the depth and scale of VR, change the way you perceive every ruined station and crumbling corridor? This is more than just a technical evolution. It's a revolution in storytelling. By harnessing the power of virtual reality, Metro Awakening reintroduces you to a world that feels palpably real. The tactile feedback, the 360-degree environment, and the sheer presence of everything around you redefine what it means to be immersed in a game. This is a world where every breath you take in the virtual realm has consequences. Every step you choose paints a unique picture of survival and determination. As you journey further into the Metro, each new challenge becomes a testament to the unyielding human spirit, a spirit that rises time and again amidst the ruins of a shattered world. Metro Awakening is not simply a game. It is an invitation to experience a narrative on a profoundly personal level, a chance to become one with the echoes of humanity left behind in the dark, abandoned corners of the earth. In conclusion, Metro Awakening is the vivid embodiment of technological innovation meeting timeless storytelling. It invites you to experience a transformation, not just of graphics or gameplay mechanics, but of the very way you engage with a narrative. It compels you to step in, to become part of a journey that is as emotionally charged as it is visually stunning, as intellectually stimulating as it is hauntingly beautiful. This is the future of immersive storytelling, where every moment is not just seen but felt, where you are no longer a passive observer, but a co-creator in a world reborn from the ashes of its past. And as you take your first tentative steps into this reimagined reality, the question lingers in the air like a whisper in the dark. What will you discover when you truly step into the Metro? A future reborn, the uncertain promise of Metro's legacy. As our journey through the desolate tunnels and haunting corridors of the Metro universe draws to a close, we are left with a profound sense of wonder, loss, and an enduring hope that refuses to be extinguished. From the first stirring echoes of despair in Metro 2033 to the visceral, immersive experience of Metro Awakening, and through every page of the books that birthed this post-apocalyptic saga, the Metro series has etched itself deeply into the hearts and minds of gamers around the world. In revisiting this legacy, we reflect on a journey that not only charted the hardships of survival beneath the ruined cityscape of Moscow, but also illuminated the resilience of the human spirit. It is a narrative steeped in desolation, a world where humanity clings to the remnants of its existence, where hope flickers in the darkness, and where every small victory against the relentless tide of mutant horrors and oppressive regimes carries the weight of redemption. Throughout the series, we witnessed Artyom's transformation from a hesitant survivor into a reluctant hero, whose every step was laden with the burden of his world's shattered past and uncertain future. In Metro 2033, the descent into darkness was punctuated by brutal encounters with creatures mutated by radiation and time. Each moment on those treacherous tracks pulled him deeper into a labyrinth of despair and determination. Yet even amidst the crushing isolation, the sound of a distant journal entry or a fleeting conversation over a shared meal revealed the common thread of hope, a fragile yet persistent light that promised that life, against all odds, could endure. The Saga's narrative was intricately tied not only to the struggle for survival, but also to the poignant exploration of memory and loss. It was in the whispered words recorded on battered journals and in the silence of the survivors that we found the true soul of Metro, a testament to a world that once thrived in light and warmth, now reduced to shadows and echoes. Through every ruined station, every flicker of resistance, the Metro series forced us to confront the stark reality of human vulnerability while simultaneously reminding us of the undying will to persevere. But what of the future? As we stand at the crossroads between the digital and the tangible, we are compelled to ask, what lies ahead for this cherished universe? Is there a possibility that a Metro 4 will someday emerge from the depths of uncertainty, rekindling the flickering embers of hope and further expanding on the legacy of Metro? Or perhaps the series, in its current form, has reached a conclusive, bittersweet finale, a fitting end to a story that has given us both profound sorrow and unexpected optimism. The questions we now face are as haunting as they are inspiring. How do we carry forward the memory of a world that was both a tomb and a sanctuary? Can we translate the resilient human spirit witnessed beneath Moscow's shattered surface into a narrative that speaks to future generations of gamers? The Metro universe has always been about more than just survival in a ravaged landscape. It has been about what it means to be human when the world has been stripped down to its rawest elements. The very essence of Metro is a meditation on humanity, its capacity for love, its potential for redemption, and its often painful acceptance of a reality marked by loss and despair. This legacy is not confined to the digital realm alone. For countless players, Metro has become a touchstone, a series that, despite its grim setting and relentless darkness, offers a glimmer of hope that resonates long after the game is turned off. It is a story that invites introspection, urging us to consider our own lives, our own battles, and the sacrifices we make for those we love. In our own struggles, we see echoes of Artyom's journey, the fear of the unknown, the pain of heartbreak, and the relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow even when everything seems lost. The Metro series challenges us to ask ourselves difficult questions about fate, survival, and the cost of redemption. Are the enemies we face in the dark tunnels merely monstrous incarnations of our deepest fears, or do they serve as a mirror reflecting the shortcomings of our own society? Is the hope that we cling to in the subterranean depths a mere illusion, or is it the very beacon that will ultimately guide us to the surface? A promise that, despite the relentless gloom, there is still a future worth fighting for. As we contemplate these questions, we must also acknowledge the profound impact this series has had on its community. The countless discussions, heartfelt testimonials, and shared experiences among fans are a testament to the power of storytelling in shaping our collective consciousness. Metro has not only entertained but also inspired debates on morality, resilience, and the nature of hope in the most unlikely of places. It has created a legacy that goes far beyond gameplay mechanics or narrative arcs. It has become a cultural phenomenon, a shared experience that binds its audience together through a mutual understanding of our own fragility and our capacity for rebirth. In closing, While the future of the Metro series remains shrouded in uncertainty, one thing is undeniably clear. Its story has left an indelible mark on us all. The legacy of Metro is a complex tapestry woven with threads of suffering and triumph, despair and hope. It challenges us to reflect on our own lives, to find solace in the darkest of times, and to believe that even in a world ravaged by unimaginable horrors, there is always a chance for renewal. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Metro universe, a journey that has taken us from the depths of despair to the spark of hope that still burns deep within us. I invite you now to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. What does the Metro series mean to you? Do you believe that this legacy can inspire a future reborn, or is it destined to remain a bittersweet memory of a world that once was? As we continue to explore these themes in future videos, your voices and perspectives will be the guiding light that shapes our collective journey forward. Until next time, keep the spirit of the Metro alive in your hearts, and never stop searching for that light in the darkness. Farewell, but not goodbye. The Metro legacy lives on. As the echoes of Metro's dark corridors fade into the distance, we find ourselves standing at the end of a long, winding journey, a journey that has taken us deep into the heart of a universe defined by both sorrow and resilience. In this final farewell, I want to leave you with not just a goodbye, but a promise. The legacy of Metro, with all its haunting beauty and tragic hope, will live on forever in our hearts and minds. Over the years, we've explored every shadowy, tunnel and desolate station beneath Moscow, witnessed the silent struggles and fierce battles for survival, and marveled at the indomitable spirit of those who dared to hope in a world overrun by despair. Metro is more than a series of games, or a collection of stories. It's an enduring testament to the power of human resilience. It reminds us that even in the deepest darkness, a spark of hope can ignite, guiding us forward and inspiring us to fight for a better tomorrow. I am profoundly grateful to each of you who has joined me on this retrospective journey. Your support, your comments, and your shared experiences have enriched this exploration, turning it into a living dialogue. A community of kindred spirits bound together by our love for a series that has redefined what it means to survive against overwhelming odds. It is because of you, the loyal fans and the passionate newcomers, that Metro's story remains alive and continues to resonate across the globe. Metro has always been a classic not merely for its immersive world and evocative storytelling, but because it captures the raw essence of humanity, its capacity to endure heartbreak, to persist in the face of crushing despair, and to find beauty in the smallest moments of connection. Every step taken by Artyom, every whispered journal entry, and every desperate act of defiance against the mutant horrors and tyrannical factions speaks to us on a deeply personal level. It is a series that challenges us to look inward, to confront our own fears, and to cherish the fleeting moments of light amidst the darkness. As we stand at the threshold of what might be Metro's next chapter, I invite you to reflect on what this series has meant to you. How has it transformed your understanding of survival, hope, and resilience? What feelings did you experience as you immersed yourself in a world so starkly different from our own? A world that, in its raw and unyielding nature, mirrors the complexities of our human condition? These are questions that linger long after the game has ended, questions that continue to provoke thought and conversation among us all. Now, as we prepare to sign off this video, I want to leave you with a glimpse of what's to come. Our journey does not truly end here. In the coming weeks and months, I will be sharing more retrospectives, deeper analyses, and untold stories that further explore the rich tapestry of the Metro universe. Whether it's delving into the mysteries of Metro's factions or revisiting the pivotal moments that have defined this legendary series, there is so much more to uncover. The legacy of Metro is ever evolving, a story that invites us to always look deeper, to question, and to dream. I encourage you to share your own memories, your favorite moments, and your thoughts on what Metro means to you. Did a particular scene, a character's silent resolve, or the haunting desolation of the underground strike a chord in your soul? Maybe you found comfort in the game's portrayal of hope, even amidst chaos. I want to hear your voices. Your stories are as vital to this legacy as the games themselves. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Metro's storied past and its enduring impact, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow gamers and fans who appreciate narratives that transcend the ordinary. Your support is what fuels this journey, and every comment and share helps to spread the legacy of Metro to new audiences around the world, especially here, where the spirit of resilience and the pursuit of hope resonate so powerfully. Before we say our final farewell, let me leave you with this thought. In every dark tunnel, in every quiet station, there is a whisper, a promise of new beginnings. Metro has taught us that even when the world seems to be crumbling around us, there is always a reason to keep moving forward. Perhaps it is the memory of those we have lost, or the unyielding hope that one day we will rediscover the light. Whatever it may be, hold on to that spark, for it is in our collective determination that the true legacy of Metro lives on. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this extraordinary journey. Your passion, your insight, and your unwavering support are the reasons why this community thrives and why the Metro legacy continues to inspire us all. This isn't a goodbye. It's merely a pause, a moment of reflection before the next adventure begins. I promise that there will be more stories to share, more mysteries to unravel, and more emotional journeys to embark upon together. So, as we part ways for now, remember, the Metro universe is a story that lives on within each of us, a narrative of survival and hope that refuses to be forgotten. Stay tuned for the next chapter in our retrospective series, and until then, keep the spirit of Metro burning, bright. Share your thoughts, spread the word, and let the legacy of Metro guide you through the darkness. Farewell, but not goodbye. Our journey together continues, and the legacy of Metro will always be a beacon in the night. As our journey through the labyrinthine depths of Metro comes to a close, we stand together at the precipice of an unforgettable legacy, a legacy where every tear shed in darkness is a spark of light waiting to ignite a new dawn. Thank you for joining us on this emotional expedition. We've ventured deep into the shadows, explored the haunting corridors of a world transformed by loss and hope, and uncovered stories that resonate with the very essence of what it means to be human. Though the tunnels may fall silent once more, the echoes of Metro will forever linger in our hearts and minds. May this journey leave you with a renewed sense of wonder, a greater appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit, and perhaps even a spark of anger at the injustices that can drive us to such extremes. Whether you feel uplifted, touched, or incensed, remember that every emotion is part of the story, a story that continues to evolve with each of us who dare to dream of a brighter future amid the ruins. As we bid farewell for now, let these final words be a call to action. Share your thoughts, your favorite moments, your own reflections on this remarkable series. Let your voice join the chorus of those who continue to champion the spirit of Metro, a spirit of unyielding hope, relentless courage, and ultimately, a profound love for the journey itself. Until we meet again, stay inspired, keep questioning, and let the legacy of Metro guide you through both darkness and light. Farewell, but not goodbye. The Metro legacy lives on in every one of us.